Sports Talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
I mean, Schnee's been swinging the bat well all year. He's been one of our best hitters this year, and not to mention the defense at second base. But what a night for him! 3-hit night. You know, those aren't easy. Those don't come often. Schnee's been a huge part of what we've done so far this year.
Bouchard. Nugent Hopkins with it. There's McDavid.
The Oilers win game one. Fastball hit high and deep right center. And off the wall, and the Blue Jays win it.
And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show. Rolling on a sunny, rainy, humid Thursday afternoon. Welcome in. 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over the world at AM1310WDPN.com. Sam Bourquin here and Ryan Rainsberg there. We have got a busy show today. Coming up here in just a few minutes, PGA Tour. We're going to talk to the pride of Greene, Ohio State Buckeye golfer, and now on the tour, and now going to play in the U.S. Open again, coming up at Oakmont. Maxwell, Moldovan is going to join us live here in just a few minutes, so stay tuned for that. Fred Greetham, Orange and Brown Report. We'll break down the Browns OTAs at 3:35. Guardians going for a series win against the Yankees tonight. We'll check in with Matt Underwood from Cleveland Guardians TV at 4:35. Sam Amico, Hoops Wire, will join us at 5:35. We'll talk a little NBA Finals and, of course, some Cleveland Cavaliers offseason as well. We got on this day in sports history coming up. Plus, we got some good stuff to give away here today and tomorrow as well. We'll shoot those phone numbers out there to you real quick. 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can always text the show on the WDPN text line at 330-924-7088. We also have our 3-question Thursday quiz today. Real quick before we get Max. Question number 1. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your excitement level for the upcoming Browns season? What's your excitement level on a scale of 1 to 10 for the Browns? Question 2, who wins the NBA Finals? The Thunder or the Pacers? Question number 3, I just noticed I'm going to use the word max in here, and I didn't plan it this way. What is the maximum number of cars you will get behind at a fast food drive-thru? How many cars is too many? And you're like, you know what? I'm out of here. But what's the maximum amount of cars you'll wait for at the drive-thru? 330-821-1310. You can drop us a line on all of our social media platforms. All right, without any further ado, let's get him in here. Green Bulldog, Ohio State Buckeye, and now doing his thing on the PGA Tour and getting ready for a little trip to Oakmont next weekend. Maxwell Moldovan joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Max, good afternoon, partner. How are you this afternoon?
Hey, Sam, I'm doing good.
Good, man. Thanks for I'm doing well. I almost got drenched about 15 minutes ago. We had one of those wild storms rip through over here, and I just made it inside in time, so I'm good right now. First of all, congratulations again for punching your ticket to go play in the U.S. Open, and I know you've this is the fourth time now, and you've still got to be crazy excited. But do the nerves calm down a little bit since you've done it before, or is it still, man, the butterflies are going?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely still super excited. The butterflies really never go away, especially on that first tee shot and down the first hole. But I think the past few years of experience will be really good for me to go down over to Oakmont and feel a lot more comfortable than I have in past years. And yeah, I'm excited for it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So I know back in 23, you finished 65th in the Open, and look, anytime you can place, you can play every day, you can get all those holes in, you can walk that course, you can soak everything in. I know that does nothing but help you down the stretch. What did you learn off of that let's just say in 2023 because of the place, and what have you taken moving forward from that?
Yeah, I learned a lot, really over the last 3 years playing the Open. But yeah, in 2023, making the cut, it was definitely good for me to get my first exposure to twosomes. They play in twosomes on the weekend, and the pace of play is a lot faster. So that was something new for me that I struggled a bit with that week. But since then, I've been fortunate to play quite a few rounds in twosomes on PGA Tour Americas. And so if I were to play well this week and make the cut, I'll be ready for twosomes on the weekend. And yeah, just the long haul of the week. You got to definitely take it easy on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and not play too much golf, but try to balance course preparation with resting your body for what's hopefully a long week.
No doubt about it. Max, before we get into your qualifying, and we'll get into some of the ins and outs of the PGA Tour and everything, but I want to talk to you about what happened in April for you, the Brazil Open, 18 under par, winner. What was that like for you?
It was really cool. It was a really big moment for me. I've had kind of a rough start to my pro career after turning pro last June. A lot of tough days and a lot of missed cuts on the number and just, a lot of disappointing times, but continue to work hard this past off season and try to make the most opportunities I have on PGA Tour Americas. And really excited to get that win. I made about a 50-foot putt on the 18th hole, which is kind of never how you plan out a win, but it was really cool. And yeah, praise the Lord. It was an awesome week.
I know you were going back and forth down the stretch with George Markham. What's that like? I imagine I would ask him the same thing. What's going through both of your minds as you guys are, you're rolling through 10, 15, 16, 17. Here comes 18, and there's so much on the line. Is there any banter back and forth, or you just got your nose to the grindstone and you're focused in on you?
I mean, yeah, you're definitely paying attention to what the other guy's doing. But at the same time, you can't control anyone else's shots but your own. So for me, I was just really trying to, that was a stretch of holes, that back nine, that I played really well that week. So I just kind of continued to try to hit good shots and see if I could make some birdies coming in. And thankfully, a lot of good things happened the last few holes for me.
Max Moldovan is our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, getting ready to go to Oakmont next week, the U.S. Open, and hopefully some great weather. We'll greet all the golfers coming up here in just a few days. So as you prepare, first of all, I mean, it's not a real long trip for you, which is kind of cool coming from Northeast Ohio. But, you played that course, obviously, the U.S. Amateur. What do you draw off of that? And what are some of your likes and maybe a thing or two that really caused you to maybe shake a little bit on that course?
Yeah, I mean, I got pretty lucky the week of the U.S. Am. It rained between rounds 1 and 2, and I was thankfully playing Oakmont on my second day.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a soft, a little bit slower version of Oakmont than I think the USGA has for us this coming week. But yeah, definitely, there's a lot of strategy out there. You've got to keep the ball in the fairway, which some guys that means hit a lot of drivers. Some guys are going to be hitting irons off the tee. So there's just a lot of challenge out there. It's one of those places you have to think your way around. Make sure that you leave the ball in the right spots. Don't get above the hole, or there's some spots where I'm sure the rough's going to be thicker than others. So yeah, it's one of those places that par's a really good score on any hole, and it's kind of one of those survival weeks. So I'm excited.
So of all the golf courses that you have played, is there one or two that really stand out for you that were maybe as challenging as you can remember? And maybe what were some of those maybe little quirks in those courses that made it that way?
Yeah, when I played the U.S. Open for the first time in Boston at the Country Club in 2022. I remember that course playing extremely difficult for me. It was really long, and the rough was really nasty. So I didn't have a great week off the tee that week, and that kind of caused some problems for me on that golf course. But yeah, Pinehurst last year was really difficult too. It's a completely different style of golf than we'll see at Oakmont next week. But yeah, I struggled a little bit off the tee at Pinehurst too, and that got the best of me. So my main focus this week in preparation is to kind of have my game plan off the tee and hit my long irons well, my 3-wood, my driver, and just go in there with a lot of confidence at Oakmont.
Max, in 2019, the Junior President's Cup, and we're talking about these are really cool, neat, and U.S. national team appearances. And you did the Arnold Palmer Cup in 2023. What were those like, and how is it different from the PGA Tour side?
Yeah, it's cool. It's not often. I mean, in college, you play on a team, but after college, there's not a ton of team golf. It's a big individual game, and it's easy to get lonely. So those weeks where you get to play for a national team and represent your country and do it alongside a bunch of buddies who are doing the same thing, that's a special week. And hopefully down the road, there may be a President's Cup or a Ryder Cup in my future. That would be that's an ultimate goal for me. But yeah, those are really cool experiences.
That would be awesome. That's tension. I mean, I'm sure you've watched those over the. I mean, me just watching TV, and I can almost feel the nerves and the players and in the gallery. I mean, how awesome would that be? Have you let yourself dream about that happening maybe someday?
A little bit, yeah. Getting to go to the Junior President's Cup, it was a couple days leading up to the President's Cup that year on the same course at Royal Melbourne. So I got to kind of experience the atmosphere a little bit, and definitely something that down the road I would love to be able to participate in.
So the turning pro in 2024, let me take you back to green. You have a tremendous career there at Ohio State, and now you're the ripe old age of 23 now, Max?
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness gracious. Take me back to when let's go when you're 13, 14 years old. Where did you think you would be where you're at now, like 10 years from then? What were your plans, and how did you see things maybe playing out? Are you a little bit surprised, and where would you like to take this thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's when you're that young, you definitely have big goals and dreams. And to be honest, it was, ever since I started playing golf, I kind of dreamed of being on the PGA Tour someday. So hopefully someday in the next few years, I can make that dream a reality. But it's really cool to be a professional golfer and live out childhood dreams. And I definitely wouldn't have planned it the way that it's gone so far. But I'm very, very grateful for a lot of the adversity and challenges I've had to face. And just thankful that God's plan is better than my own.
Oh, no doubt about that. And of course, you've got so much support behind you. People that and a lot of people you probably don't have been pulling for you for years, and we're kind of just on this ride with you. We're certainly enjoying it too. Max Moldovan is our guest PGA Tour pro, and he's ready to rock up to Oakmont next week for the U.S. Open. So moving forward, tomorrow being Friday, I know things get a little bit hectic now in a couple of days. What's your schedule going to be looking like before you tee off at Oakmont?
It's a bit of a unique one for me this year. The past few years, I've arrived at the Open on either Saturday or Sunday and kind of start my preparation then. This year, since it's only 2 hours away, I'm going to drive over on Saturday and play at least 9 holes, get a practice round in. And then one of my good friends is getting married in North Carolina on Sunday. So my wife and I are going to make a quick flight in and out of North Carolina to catch his wedding, and then be back at Oakmont on Monday to kind of get my preparation back underway.
Very cool. That's going to be wild. I mean, you're squeezing a lot of stuff in there quick, but I know you'll be able to make it through. Okay. So when you get to Oakmont and it's set in, okay, U.S. Open, we're going to tee off on Thursday. I got my tee time and here's my regimen. What's your thought process maybe as your head hits the pillow on Wednesday night?
I've had a really good year of improving my mental game and kind of really putting results to the side and focusing on my process and just hitting each shot the best I can and letting God handle the results. And I'm just going to continue to do that Wednesday when I go to bed. Just try to calm my nerves and spend some time with family and friends and do a good bit of praying and just hope that Thursday morning when I wake up, I can have kind of the same mentality on the golf course that I've had all year and not let that be affected by a bigger stage or anything like that.
Awesome. When you were growing up, well, I mean, you're still growing up. You're so young. But when you were kind of growing up years ago, who was your favorite golfer on tour and maybe why?
I think when I was really young, I definitely loved watching Tiger, watching him seemed like putt to win the tournament on Sunday every week. I definitely fell in love with that. And then I really liked watching Rory play when I was like 10 to 15 years old, and he had that run of winning a bunch of majors. I love that. And now Scotty Scheffler's far and away my favorite player. He uses his faith to guide his golf really well, and that's something that I try to do too. So he's a great guy for me to look up to.
He is just playing amazing golf right now, Max. What is so special about him and what he does? Because he doesn't seem to me to like ever get rattled. He always seems very focused. He can drive the heck out of the ball. I mean, he's incredible, isn't he?
He is, yeah. I mean, I was fortunate to play a practice round with him in 2022 for the U.S. Open. So it was cool to spend time around him. And like I said, I think he's got such a great head on his shoulders. He does a great job of balancing family life with golf and his faith. And I just think that gives him a lot of peace as he goes out and plays. And it just seems like he loves to compete. He doesn't really play for the money or the awards or anything like that, but just wants to be the best player that he can be. And he's done an incredible job of that.
No doubt. Max, speaking of that, how has that been for you now? Recently married now and doing things like that and keep grinding, with your PGA. How has that been for you?
It's been incredible. My wife we're very blessed that she has a remote job. So she's able to travel with me pretty much every week that we're on the road. So that's really cool having her there with me. And she's caddied for me a good bit the last year.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Out on PGA Tour Americas in Canada and South America. So it's really cool to have her there. And as we've gotten further in our relationship, I think my childhood dreams are starting to become her dreams too, which is cool. So hopefully, next week we get to live them out a little bit and hopefully continue doing that.
That is awesome. Max, I really appreciate you taking some time. I know you're busy. I know you're focused, and I know great things are going to happen for you. We are rooting for you, my friend. We're behind you all the way. All the best. Safe travels to Oakmont, and have a great tournament, and hopefully we can catch up with you here down the road.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, Sam. God bless.
You bet. There he goes. Maxwell Moldovan, PGA Tour professional, and he's getting ready for the U.S. Open at Oakmont beginning next Thursday. I wish that young man all the best. 23 years old. Oh, what a future he's got. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and kind of reset it when we open you because we had to get to the interview real quick. Then we'll get to the news and weather, and we'll get into the meat and potatoes here on this 3-question Thursday. Hang out with us here, 1310 WDPN.
Are you looking to send flowers to someone special? Let DeHoff's Flowers Greenhouse and Landscaping take the hassle out of this beautiful gesture for you. When you order online through national flower dealers, you lose 20 to 30% of your money because it goes to the middleman. Get more bloom for your buck and order from DeHoff's. They'll deliver. It's true, when you skip the middleman, all your money goes towards the flowers, and that makes everyone happy. Well, except the middleman. Locally owned and operated, the experts at DeHoff's have over 61 years of professional knowledge and experience, and they'll be happy to design the perfect arrangement for all the events in your life. So remember, DeHoffs.com, and you'll always get more bloom for your buck. In Alliance on the corner of Beach and Beechwood, you can order by phone too at 330-823-1455.
We learn valuable life lessons from our loved ones. Lessons that protect our home and keep us safe. Like avoiding pests such as cockroaches that can be attracted to leaking pipes, or mice that are drawn to left-out food. And standing water around your home can be a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Stopping pests that can spread disease is a valuable life lesson to pass down from one generation to the next. Learn how you can have a healthy, pest-free home. Visit pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, thanks to Max Moldovan for joining us here on the program, and all the best to Maxwell at the Oakmont next week for the U.S. Open. We'll let you know when we find out his tee time and his pairing, and we'll tell you all about that as soon as we get it, and then we'll be watching him together coming up next weekend, hopefully Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 23 years old, and he has got just so much great stuff ahead of him, and we wish Max nothing but the best. All right, we've got the news, we got the weather coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Don't forget, it is a 3-question Thursday here on the program. Question 1, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your excitement level for the Cleveland Browns? Where are you at? 1, 9, 4, 5, where are you at? Question number 2, who wins the NBA championship this year? Oklahoma City or the Indiana Pacers? Question number 3, I thought this would be a fun one today. What is the maximum number of cars you will get behind in a fast food drive-thru? And what I mean by that is you're coming up on your favorite place, okay? You pull in the drive and you see 6 cars. What do? You staying? You leaving? You go to the next place and there's like 2 cars? Okay, I'm going to go here. What's the maximum amount of cars you will wait behind when you pull into the fast food drive-thru? Me? I'll tell you about my story coming up here after the break. News and weather next. Stick around. 1310 WDPN.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. Following his departure from the Trump administration just days ago, the world's richest man is ramping up his criticism of President Trump's budget bill. ABC's Karen Travers reports the president responded while meeting with the German chancellor earlier today.
It was really striking to hear President Trump seem to turn on Elon Musk there. He has been quiet for the last couple of days as Elon Musk has been criticizing the signature piece of legislation for the president's whole term right now. This is the big domestic agenda bill, the big tax policy bill. Elon Musk has called it an abomination, has been encouraging people to reach out to lawmakers to kill the bill. The president there said multiple times he is very disappointed in Elon Musk.
Trump is threatening to cut Elon Musk's government contracts. President Trump is again banning people from countries his administration deems dangerous from coming to America. The travel ban issued Wednesday is a repeat of an order of his first administration that led to widespread confusion at airports. This version includes countries such as Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. The president's first travel ban was issued in 2017 and banned travel to the U.S. by citizens of 7 predominantly Muslim countries. The order was retooled until a version was upheld by the Supreme Court in 2018. After exploding to a record high $138 billion in March, the nation's trade deficit declined in April. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
As President Trump ramped up threats of tariffs earlier this year, U.S. companies and consumers ramped up their purchases of foreign goods in March to beat anticipated price increases. But as tariff rhetoric softened in April, imports decreased, exports increased, and the U.S. trade deficit dropped to $61.6 billion.
Another ex-girlfriend who alleges she was abused by Sean Diddy Combs and forced to participate in drug-fueled sex marathons has begun testifying at his sex trafficking trial in New York. She took the stand today under the pseudonym Jane. The music mogul has pleaded not guilty to running his business empire as a racketeering enterprise that enabled the abuse of women. Testimony resumed earlier today with the cross-examination of a woman who alleges Combs dangled her off a balcony. The judge warned his lawyers that Combs had been nodding at the jury and said if it happens again, Combs could be kicked out of the courtroom. It's 79 degrees at Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
The threat of showers and thunderstorms lingers throughout this afternoon with a high around 80. For the overnight, showers and thunderstorms once again with a low dipping to 63. Friday, a chance of morning showers, then an additional chance of showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon. Mostly cloudy, a high near 76. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Music and intelligence for your life.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
You heard it on the John Tesh Radio Show.
We're with Bridget.
whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
We're back here on 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over the world. Hope you are having a wonderful Thursday, a 3-question Thursday. Question number 1 today. Oh, we're having fun on this one. Question number 1, on a scale of 1 to 5, what is your excitement level for the Cleveland Browns between 1 and 10 this year? Question 2, who wins the NBA chip, the Thunder or the Pacers? I think this is going to be a really good series. Question number 3, what are the most cars you will pull in behind at a fast food restaurant? How many is too many? I got a great one here from Sean Broom. Great season, Glen Oak baseball, by the way. He says, Sam, usually it's 5 cars I'll wait for, but if it's Chick-fil-A, I'll wait for 30. Are you kidding me? Oh, 330-821-1310 is our telephone number. You can always text the program on the WDPN text line, 330-924-7088. Thanks for PGA Tour Pro Max Moldovan for joining us here a few minutes ago here on the Sam Bourquin Show. All right, from the PGA Tour to the gridiron, we bring in our good friend Fred Greetham from the Orange and Brown Report. We're going to talk a little OTAs, little quarterback room, and a little bit more here on the show today. Good afternoon, Fred. How are you?
Hey, Sam, doing great.
Good, man. Hey, I know we're about less than an hour away from you, but what's the weather like up where you're at right now?
Well, right now it's dry. Looks a little bit grayish, but I need some rain. I just planted some crops yesterday.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Reason I ask is we just got gully washed down here, and I got to be thinking about, OTAs and, the difference between OTA weather, then mandatory, and then the camp that starts, and you kind of run the gamut of Northeast Ohio between maybe mist and wind and hot and humid, and it's like, okay, what are we going to get today? So OTAs 2025, Fred Greetham, give us a front row seat. What did you see that really stuck out to you that maybe could transfer over here as we get ready for the kickoff for the regular season in less than 100 days?
Well, first, it's really hard, to evaluate some of the key positions because there's no pads and there's no tackling, there's no contact and different things like that. But it just seems overall that they're a little more lively. They're doing more things at the same time. I think part of it's out of need because you got 4 quarterbacks, so you're almost running 2 practices or 2 things on 2 fields with 2 quarterbacks each. With that said, it's hard to evaluate. Everybody wants to know what the quarterbacks, how they look, and and it's like, Sam, if you're on one field watching them and I'm on another field, and then they switch fields, I might have seen 5 great throws for touchdowns, and then when they switch, you might see one bad play and say, man, the guy doesn't look very good. And so it's really, I find a lot is what you're looking for and who you're, if you have a favorite is how you look at it. And so I just think right now, at the quarterbacks, Joe Flacco looks like he's most ready to play, and that's obvious. He's 18-year veteran. But Kenny Pickett, he's looking pretty good, but he is, not throwing the ball. I'm not seeing him throw the ball downfield as much as I'm seeing with Flacco, which is kind of expected. He has a reputation of trying to take care of the ball and check down and get the ball out quick. And then you got the young guys, it's like some just aren't, in the time we're out there, aren't getting the reps, in front of us. I see Sanders make some really good throws. I've seen some improvement in him even since rookie mini camp. And Gabriel, I see him make good throws as well. And so it's all over the place. It's hard to evaluate it. we'll know more and more, I think, next week when we have 3 days in a row of getting to watch them on the field and everybody being there. But, when you got close to 90 guys, it's hard to hone in and see, what's exactly going on. But to give you an overall feeling, there are some impressions. I think that, the wide receiver position, I'm a little concerned with it, especially, the depth yesterday. Cedric Tillman, Michael Woods didn't practice, and Deontay Johnson hasn't been there when we've been there. So you had Jerry Jeudy and a bunch of guys that you don't know much about. And so it's good for the young guys, but I don't know. I don't know what they have, depth-wise, and even at the top of the order.
Another thing that people may not realize, Fred, and how much are you able to really watch? Aren't there is a day or days where the media really isn't even allowed to be around?
Oh yeah, like today I think today they're off, but I think tomorrow then they're back out. The media has been at the last 2 Wednesdays, so we were there Wednesday and a week ago Wednesday. Next week is really the biggest look, and that's the mandatory mini camp Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We will be able to be out there watching the whole practice. I'm assuming that's what we've been able to do with the OTAs, and that's usually how it goes. And so, yeah, when Kevin Stefanski says they're rotating the quarterbacks, we have no idea, if Shedeur Sanders is getting the reps on the days we're not seeing. I can say yesterday, on 11 on 11s, he made a nice throw, but he was throwing with the backups. And who knows, if he's getting them on the other days. I can only go by what Stefanski said, and no reason not to believe him is that they're rotating them every day. It's just the days we're out there, we're not really seeing a lot of reps from the younger guys.
In a wild world, let's just say that the Browns open up a preseason action, say this Saturday night against Team X. What do you think the rotation would be as far as quarterbacks, if you could kind of get inside the mind of Coach Stefanski?
Yeah, if it was preseason, I would say that Kenny Pickett would probably start the game.
Okay.
I'm not sure if Joe Flacco would come in. I don't know if they feel like he would need, to play in a game. But if they were to rotate in with all of them, then I think Flacco would be next, and then you'd have Doe and Gabriel and Sanders. They might just go with the younger guys, but that's the way I feel. Pickett is getting the first turn in most everything. I think right now he would be the guy in the pole position. But if I was to start the regular season today, who's looked the best to me is Joe Flacco, because he's not afraid to throw the ball downfield, and he's just been there and done that. And with the schedule they have, the first 6 games, those are all teams. The only team that didn't have a great record was the Bengals, and they were 9-8. So, it really is the decisions they have to make. Are they going for it in that grueling schedule? I think you'd feel more at ease having Flacco out there. Or are you going to see what you have in Kenny Pickett if he wins the job? That's the way I feel. You start it, and then anything can go from there. Gabriel and Sanders, I think, would see the field sometime this year, but I do think it depends on how the season starts in those first 5-6 games, and sets the table for the season.
Fred Greetham is our guest from the Orange and Brown Report at Fred Greetham 9, at Fred Greetham 9 on X. Check him out. Does a lot of great stuff, videos, photos, breaking news, interviews. Check him out at Fred Greetham 9 on X. So with the preseason being 3 games now and 17 games in the regular season, we think we kind of have an idea how the Browns are approaching this year by the way they drafted and the way things are kind of setting up. I don't think a lot of us would be surprised if the Browns only won maybe 4 or 5 games. They could win more, but I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. With that being said, Fred, with Kevin Stefanski, How many snaps do you think he would like to get Shedeur in the preseason? And then does he even think about the regular season as far as that's concerned?
Well, I think that, we saw with DTR, he was kind of the preseason star in his years here. And, I think that you're going to see a lot with Gabriel and Sanders in the preseason. And I also think that they're, unless they've just decided that they're going to go with, Pickett, I would expect him to get, reps to see what they really have in him in winning, potentially winning that position. And I think they have to start making decisions, certainly not now, but I think after the the mini camp next week, then going into training camp, you're going to start to see some definition of what direction they're thinking, because you just physically can't have 4 guys getting reps and getting them ready for the season. So it will be quite interesting. That will obviously be the story. But I do think Sanders and Gabriel will play a lot in the preseason. And I would think Pickett would as well, because he's trying to earn the trust here that he can be the starting quarterback.
I was flipping through your activities on X yesterday. I believe it was yesterday, maybe last night. And DeJuan Jones, and I thought, whoa, and I was looking off of my cell phone. I said, whoa, he looks like he dropped some serious weight and got, looks a little, meaner and leaner. What's the story on DeJuan? What kind of regimen did he have, and how much weight did he lose?
Yeah, he said that he got with the nutritionist with the Browns and was really on a serious he kept stressing lean body mass and converting some of his excess weight into, leaner muscle mass and body weight. And he said overall, he was kind of reluctant on the weight, but he did say about 20 pounds overall, but he kept stressing. I think what he's saying is he dropped a lot of fat and turned it into muscle mass or lean weight. Overall, he's down a little bit, but you can see from that picture video I put on there, that he's redefined his body. He's a big man. He's 6'8". They list him at 374. I don't think he's that at all. He might be closer to 350 or a little even less than that. But he looked pretty good. I have a video of him at left tackle protecting Dylan Gabriel, and Gabriel left-handed threw over his head. And somebody said on my timeline, said they would bet before training camp's over, the Gabriel hits him in the back of the helmet on a pass. And I kind of agree with that, because there wasn't much margin for error to get the ball out there.
Right.
But that would go a long way if Jones can stay on the field. He even mentioned, the last 2 years he's battled the knee injuries, and, that's a lot of stress on his body, carrying that weight. And so I think he realized that, and he has an opportunity to be the left tackle long-term for the Browns. They didn't really go out and address that position in the draft. They signed a 12-year veteran, Cornelius Lucas, who could step in at right or left tackle. But I think it's DeJuan Jones's job to lose right now.
Fred, I think so too. And you mentioned, look, 6'8", if he's around 345, 350, you mentioned health, and that's always a big thing with a big lineman. But if you can just stay healthy, I think this kid, he could be a bookend for years for this franchise. And I don't say that lightly just because he went to Ohio State and whatever. I think he's got that physique, and if he's got the hunger, if that pilot light, like Marty used to say, stays on, I think he could be fantastic.
And he's only 23,
right,
in his third year. So, we've seen just enough, it's unfortunately he only got to play 3 games at left tackle last year before he got hurt. But, they felt good enough about to pencil him in, and move on from Jedrick Wills and give him a shot to be the left tackle. And so even if he doesn't, he mentioned he likes right tackle better, but he's more than willing to be the left tackle. So even if he isn't the greatest left tackle and they evaluate it, he still could be a strong right tackle long term as well. And they can draft another tackle, next year's draft with one of those first round picks or as free agent. But as far as I do think he's the key to the offensive line, they're going back to the zone blocking, which 4 of the 5 are kind of, entrenched in that system. And if Jones can hold his own, at left tackle, this offense could really, control the line of scrimmage running the ball with Judkins and Sampson and Jerome Ford.
Fred Greetham is our guest. Orange and Brown Report. Check him out on X at Fred Greetham 9. Fred, I want to circle back to Shedeur for just a second. And I came across an article yesterday. In the Super Bowl era, which goes back to 1966, there have been two fifth-round quarterbacks to have more than 10,000 career passing yards. Mark Brunell and Steve Grogan. That's not a lot since 1966. Shedeur coming out of the fifth-round spot. Realistically, Fred, forget about all the outside noise. Forget about Dad Dion and everything else. What do you see as far as a NFL legitimate career for Shedeur Sanders?
Well, that's quite a loaded question. The talent is there. I think most of your draft, pundits had him going in the first or second round or being, the second best in the draft. Not all the NFL evaluators saw it that way. I think a lot of the question was some of the, what did he bring in? When you boil it down, how many teams were looking for a starting quarterback? I don't know if it's less than 10, probably, but a lot of teams wouldn't be interested in him as a backup quarterback because he brings a lot of attention. A lot of people don't. You look at the list of backup quarterbacks in the NFL, they're usually not well known. So with that said, I think he's got a chance, to really have a great career. And I think with the Browns, the problem is in the past, they've always thrown guys out before they're ready. I don't think they would feel they need to. They like, obviously, Gabriel better than Sanders, but I think he's going to get a hard look. We know Andrew Berry keeps his draft picks. And so I think Gabriel and Sanders are on the roster this year, and they're going to get a good long look. And unfortunately, Browns go through quarterbacks quickly with injuries. They played 4 last year, 5 the year before. So I think that if they're patient with him, I think he can develop and be a top-end quarterback. I don't know if he would surpass Mark Brunell's career or Grogan, but I think if he was just an above-average starter in the NFL, that would go a long way here with the Browns. I mean, they haven't had that since Bernie Kosar. So, I mean, if you count Baker Mayfield 1 year, then he got injured and so forth. So I just think they took it as value. I think that, like I mentioned earlier, I think a lot of teams, the evaluation process, they didn't have him rated as highly of a quarterback ready to go as maybe, Cam Ward. And so that's why, obviously, the Browns had him somewhere probably end of the 3rd round, early 4th, why they took him in the 5th, because they thought it was such a value. So, I mean, that's what you do. You don't count on a guy you taking in the 3rd round to be your franchise quarterback, but you feel like they have a chance. So I think that's what this whole process will play out and see what happens. But he's working very hard, and I've seen him improve. He's obviously got the talent, accuracy, which, a lot of things it's going to just come down to. He's being asked to do things now that maybe he wasn't in college in a different system. So I think it'll be fascinating. If you could get either Gabriel or Sanders out of this draft to be the guy, that would be such a feather in the cap, because you would have him under contract, for a very, he reminds me a little bit of a left-handed Russell Wilson, guy come out of Wisconsin, 3rd round pick, and he established himself in Seattle, even though they went out and paid a lot of money to bring in Matt Flynn, and we all know he led them to the Super Bowl. So I don't know. I think he's got the potential, but you got to use them and you got to develop them properly. And that'll be the question, with Tommy Rees, Kevin Stefanski, and the Browns, that they don't throw him out there maybe before, he's ready to play.
Fred, a couple more, we'll let you roll. I really appreciate you coming on today. It looks like His Majesty has finally made his mind up. Aaron Rodgers looks like he's going to get ready to sign with the Steelers here maybe as early as this afternoon. If that indeed does happen, how do you think that works out?
Well, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and, you liked your chances playing him twice a year with Mason Rudolph versus Aaron Rodgers because, he can fling the ball. And last year, I think he did, have some pretty good numbers. And with that defense with the Steelers, I think that makes them formidable. They're always a winning team and right on the doorstep of the playoffs. So it just makes it a little more daunting for the Browns, not only playing the Ravens twice with Lamar Jackson, but Bengals with Joe Burrow and now Aaron Rodgers. So the task just doesn't get any easier. And, who knows what'll happen there, but, if he just plays adequately, he's got to be an improvement of what they had, in the past year or two.
No doubt. Fred Greetham is our guest. All right, Fred, it's a 3-question Thursday. We're going to fire the quiz at you. You ready?
Okay.
All right, here we go. This first one's perfect for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your excitement level for the upcoming Brown season?
Oh, boy. I'd have to say probably about 5.
About 5?
In the middle of the road. Last year at this time, I was pretty excited thinking this team was really going to take the next step, but we all know what happened.
No doubt about it. All right, question number 2. Who wins the NBA title, Pacers or Thunder?
Thunder.
Thunder. Question 3. What is the maximum amount of cars Fred Greetham will wait behind in a fast food drive-thru?
Oh, boy. 4.
4? Well, you're a better man than I. If I see 1, I'm out. I'm going to the next one because I'm not waiting.
Yeah, it depends on what.
Depends what I'm trying to get.
That's what it is.
Yeah, no doubt. Fred, we always appreciate the time. More camp coming up next week. I'm sure that'll be cool. We will follow you on X, and we'll catch up with you down the road. Thanks again, Fred.
Always good to be with you, Sam. Thanks for having me on.
You bet, partner. Fred Greetham from the Orange and Brown Report, checking in here on AM 1310 WDPN. Yeah, looks like Aaron Rodgers is ready to sign on the dotted line with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, boy. All right, we'll take a break and come back with more 1310 WDPN.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
I want to thank our guest today, PGA Golf Tour Pro, Maxwell Moldovan, joining us. Appreciate him coming by. And, of course, Fred Greetham from the Orange and Brown Report. 3-question Thursday quiz today. Question number 1, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your excitement level for the Browns? Question 2, Who wins the NBA championship? The Pacers or the Thunder? Question 3, the maximum amount of cars you will pull in behind and wait at a fast food drive-thru. Hit us up on all the social media outlets, on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram. Of course, you can drop the comments below on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. Get a couple here before we get to break. Bill Wright says excitement level for the Browns is a 6. He's got the Thunder winning the championship. He will actually wait behind 6 cars in a drive-thru. I couldn't do it. Jim Baumgartner says, go Steelers. Okay, Jim. He says the Thunder will win the NBA championship. He will wait behind 3 cars in a drive-thru before he pulls away. Mike Streb says Browns excitement meters at a 4. He'll take the Pacers to win the NBA title. He will wait behind 5 cars in a fast food drive-thru. Keep them coming in. We got some good ones we're going to get to here on the other side. Don't forget, we'll talk some Guardians baseball with Matt Underwood from Cleveland Guardians TV at 4:30 today, and Sam Amico from hoopswire.net. He'll join us and talk a little NBA Finals at 5:35. It's a 3-question Thursday. It's a crazy weather day. Central Catholic baseball team scheduled to play Waynedale at 5 o'clock today in the Division 5 Regional Championship. We'll get you updates on that one as well. Stick around. The news and weather next on 1310.
An important part of the Alliance community since 1953. You're listening to AM 1310, WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A fallout between President Trump and Elon Musk over the budget bill.
It was really striking to hear President Trump seem to turn on Elon Musk there. He has been quiet for the last couple of days as Elon Musk has been criticizing the signature piece of legislation for the president's whole term right now. This is the big domestic agenda bill, the big tax policy bill. Elon Musk has called it an abomination, has been encouraging people to reach out to lawmakers to kill the bill. The president there said multiple times he is very disappointed in Elon Musk.
ABC's Karen Travers. A judge in Massachusetts granting bond for Milford High School student Marcela Gomez de Silva. The 18-year-old was detained by immigration officials driving to volleyball practice last weekend. ICE says they initially were looking for the teen's father. An IDF spokesperson says Israeli Defense Forces are currently attacking what it calls Hezbollah targets in Beirut and buildings that make drones. This is ABC News.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
It's Macy's Friends and Family Sale, which means if you're shopping for summer, you can get insider deals on our best brands, even ones that aren't usually on sale, like an extra 30% off Hugo Boss, Calvin Klein, Levi's, and more. Plus, get 15% off beauty and fragrance. And with Father's Day just around the corner on June 15th, it's a great time to shop for Dad. Stop by Macy's today and walk out with the perfect gift. Don't miss Friends and Family. Going on now, only at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusion.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. A woman from Greene who sued over claims that she didn't get a job and then was demoted because she is straight has won a major legal victory. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously in favor of Marlene Ames in her appeal today. She has worked for the Ohio Department of Youth Services for more than 20 years. Both the job Ames sought and the one she had held were given to LGBTQ people. A trial court and the 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals had ruled against Ames. The justice's decision affects so-called reverse discrimination lawsuits in 20 states and the District of Columbia. Until now, courts had to set a higher bar when members of a majority group, such as those who are white and heterosexual, sue for discrimination under federal law. A proposal to eliminate property taxes in Ohio is drawing a response from Washington Township trustees. The Ohio Ballot Board last month certified the proposed constitutional amendment. Petitioners were given 6 weeks to gather enough signatures from voters in 44 counties to secure a spot on the November ballot. During Monday's meeting, trustee Wayne Wallace advised anyone asked to sign a petition for the measure to consider the consequences. He says the township receives about 65% of operating funds from levies paid for with property taxes. If the state changes to a sales tax, Wallace adds the rate would be cut to roughly 20%. Supporters of the proposal say high property taxes are forcing people out of their homes. Opponents argue that eliminating such taxes could have severe consequences for the state and local governments. The shooting of a teen in Canton prompts an investigation by police. The 16-year-old was found inside a home in the 2100 block of 7th Street Northeast shortly after 9 p.m. Tuesday. She had been shot in the head. Police say a witness told them the wound may have been self-inflicted. A Massillon man accused of taking part in sexual activity with a juvenile has been formally charged with the crime. The Stark County grand jury indicted 50-year-old Gregory Sturm. He's charged with sexual battery, domestic violence, and intimidation. The alleged activity occurred from December 2023 to January 2024 when the victim was 16. Sturm also is accused of harming or trying to harm a female family member April 13th. The indictment states he threatened the victim and a witness May 29th. Sturm was arrested Tuesday. He's scheduled for arraignment today in Common Pleas Court. A Wellsville man accused of shooting a 15-year-old boy has been indicted for the crime. The Columbiana County grand jury charged 20-year-old Emery Childs. He faces counts of attempted murder, felonious assault, tampering with evidence, and inducing panic. Childs is being held in the county jail on $500,000 bond. He allegedly shot the teen in the wrist April 27th during a confrontation on 18th Street in Wellsville. A Salem woman faces up to 23 years in prison for starting a fire at an apartment building in May 2024. Sentencing of 34-year-old Alicia Craig is scheduled tomorrow in Columbiana County Common Pleas Court. A jury found her guilty of 2 counts of aggravated arson Wednesday. Craig set the blaze at an East 6th Street address in Salem. 2 firefighters suffered minor injuries while battling the flames. The residents escaped safely. A Salem woman is scheduled for a pretrial hearing in Columbiana County Municipal Court September 14th on account of endangering children. The then 4-month-old daughter of 22-year-old Ashley Boley was taken to Akron Children's Hospital in October due to low weight. The child gained weight under medical care and was placed with a family member. Medical personnel told police Boley failed to cooperate with them and canceled numerous checkups and appointments for the child. Boley pleaded not guilty Tuesday. A Nagley man charged with secretly recording videos of women will be sentenced in October. 25-year-old Shane Wright pleaded guilty Wednesday to voyeurism and possession of criminal tools in Columbiana County Common Pleas Court. Prosecutors are recommending a 1-year sentence. Wright was arrested August 23rd by St. Clair Township Police, who said he was using his cell phone to record video of women from the rafters over the locker room, bathroom, and tanning bed area of Planet Fitness on Route 170. Police say they discovered more videos on his phone showing women in changing rooms at the Calcutta Walmart August 12th and 21st. Youngstown police say a man was crushed between a car door and a building on the city's north side early Wednesday. The victim and another man were pushing a disabled vehicle on Logan Avenue around 12:40. While they were moving the car into a parking lot, it picked up speed. The man pushing it by the front door was trapped as the vehicle slid along the side of a building. He freed himself and was taken to St. Elizabeth Health Center with injuries to his ribs and a lung. The man is in stable condition. Youngstown police say a woman was wounded and another jailed following a shooting this morning. It happened around 4:20 on North Garland Avenue on the city's east side. Investigators believe the victim was shot by someone she knew following an argument. She is being treated at St. Elizabeth Health Center. Officers arrested a suspect after officers saw her car and pulled it over. The woman's name has not been released. She will be charged with felonious assault. A pre-sentence investigation will take place before a man learns his punishment for a shooting in Liberty Township. 31-year-old Dennis Glenchar of Boardman pleaded guilty Wednesday to charges of attempted felonious assault with a gun specification, having weapons under disability, tampering with evidence, and carrying a concealed weapon. Sentencing will occur in Trumbull County Common Pleas Court. Glenchar shot at a man near a bus stop on Belmont Avenue March 21st. The bullet passed through the victim's jacket, narrowly missing him. Police said the men did not know each other. It's 79 degrees in Alliance at 3:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. The forecast is next, a service of Canterbury of Alliance. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
For the remainder of your afternoon, showers and thunderstorms likely with a high reaching 80. For the overnight, showers and thunderstorms and a low around 63. Friday, a possibility of morning showers, then another chance for showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies and a high near 76. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
My doctor said I could use something called a biosimilar. Then she told me what it is.
A biosimilar is a type of biologic medication. Just like brand name drugs have generic versions, original biologics can have biosimilars.
So I asked what the benefits are and if they work the same.
Biosimilars have the same safety, effectiveness, and quality as the original biologic. They also offer more medication options at potentially more competitive prices.
My doctor said I could learn more at fda.gov/biosimilars.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
I mean, Schnee's been swinging the bat well all year. He's been one of our best hitters this year, and not to mention the defense at second base. But what a night for him! 3-hit night. You know, those aren't easy. Those don't come often. Schnee's been a huge part of what we've done so far this year.
Bouchard, Agent Hopkins with it. There's McDavid. Oh, Leon Draisaitl! The Oilers win game one. Fastball hit high and deep right center. And off the wall, and the Blue Jays win it.
All right, good night for us last night. Guardians got a win against the Yankees. We'll do it again tonight, 7:05 at the stadium. Ciccone and Fried, the pitching matchup tonight with Cleveland and New York. Well, the Yankees are almost a 3-1 favorite tonight. Holy smokes. Also heard the game-winning goal last night is Edmonton beats Florida. Oilers take a 1-0 lead in that series and a walk-off winner by the Blue Jays last night. Those are the big moments in sports for us. Welcome back into the Sam Bourquin Show on a wild weather Thursday here, AM 1310 WDPN. Sam Bourquin here, and of course, Ryan Rainsberg on the other side of the glass. Our phone number to get in today, 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. You can always text the show if that's easier for you. Love to hear from you, 330-924-7088. You can also comment on all of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, X, keyword AM 1310 WDPN. You can check us out as well on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel as well. All right, let's reset here a little bit. I want to thank PGA Tour Pro Max Moldovan for joining us in the 3 o'clock hour. Max is getting ready to head to Oakmont this weekend to play in the U.S. Open beginning next Thursday. All the best to Max. I want to thank Fred Greetham from the Orange and Brown Report, breaking down a little Cleveland Browns OTAs over the last couple of days. We'll check in with Matt Underwood from Cleveland Guardians TV, talk some guards coming up at 4:35 today. Of course, the NBA Finals tonight, Game 1 of that best-of-7 series between Oklahoma City and Indiana. We'll talk to Sam Amico from hoopswire.net coming up at 5:35 this afternoon. Couple of, more than a couple. Of course, today's getaway day, and there are a ton of baseball games going on right now. Royals Cardinals 4-4, top of the ninth inning. Tigers White Sox 2-2 in the bottom of the seventh. Blue Jays hammering the Phillies 8-0 in the fourth. A's over the Twins 4-0 in the third. We like that. No score early, Orioles and Mariners. No score Padres Giants. No score Mets Dodgers. Astros and Pirates a little bit later on tonight. Boy, Paul Skeens had another great outing the other night in Pittsburgh. They lost. Couldn't score for him. You could hear the fans at PNC Park trying to encourage Paul Skeens as he walked off the field. I mean, you could hear people screaming, "Get the guy some runs, sell the team, you deserve better, Paul." I mean, they were just, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. He just gets absolutely no run support at all. We do have a final from earlier today. This is, I think, game one of a day-night doubleheader, if I'm not mistaken. A wild one down in Atlanta. The Diamondbacks beat the Braves today by the score of 11-10. That's pretty crazy stuff there. All right, it's a 3-question Thursday, and without a doubt, it's always a good time for the 3-question Thursday quiz. Question number 1, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your excitement level for the Cleveland Browns? Where's your Browns fever meter at between 1 and 10? Question number 2, who wins the NBA chip? The Thunder or the Indiana Pacers? And question number 3, kind of a fun one. We all go through the drive-thru. Some of us more than others. Places we probably shouldn't go as much as we do. But with that being said, what's the maximum number of cars you're willing to wait behind at the fast food drive-thru? 330-821-1310. Text us at 330-924-7088. We got the 3-question Thursday quiz. We got Matt Underwood coming up, Sam Amico. We also have our Today in Sports History segment coming up at around 5:25 this afternoon. When I was talking to Fred Greetham about Shedeur Sanders, and I guess it kind of was a loaded question, but I didn't mean it to be that way, because there's always, like, you're on this side for Shedeur or you're on this side. There's like no middle ground there. And I asked Fred about, what are the realistic expectations now and in the future? 5th round pick. If more teams needed a quarterback this year in the draft, he probably doesn't fall to the 5th round, right? I think we would all agree on that. I've always kind of had in the back of my mind, will his game at Colorado in college, will it transfer to the NFL? I do notice a little bit from what I've seen, and it's not a lot because they don't let you see a lot up there. He looks like he has really been working hard on his throwing mechanics. I've been very outspoken about Shedeur Sanders and his mechanics. To me, there were times in Colorado, and yes, there were times he was running for his life, but there were times in Colorado that instead of throwing the football and zipping it behind your ear and letting it fly, he would almost wind up like a pitcher before he threw the ball. And I don't want to be repetitive, but you can't do that in the NFL. 1,000, 2, it's too late. It's too late. You have got to hit windows in the NFL. You have to throw guys open in the NFL. Guys aren't going to be running wide open down the field like they are in college. Colorado, you're not going to be lining up against I don't know who stinks. New Mexico. You're in the NFL now. And that whole winding up, it takes a little bit longer to release the ball. And by that time, the DB's already closed in. Or at that point, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, you might be on your fanny. But I noticed he has worked on his mechanics, footwork, and trying to get a little quicker release. And I appreciate the fact that he's come in, put his nose to the grindstone, and he's working hard. End of the day, still a 5th round pick, number 144. And it's a very crowded room. And to boot, realistically, the Cleveland Browns this year, I got them winning 4 games. maybe 5, maybe. But I think that's the plan, isn't it? Isn't it the plan to be in the lower echelon of teams in the NFL? Maybe 4's too many. Hey, this team could start 0-7. Easy. Easy. With the schedule they're going to play and what they're going to, roll out there with, they could very easily start the year 0-7, 1-6. And then you know what happens. September turns into October, turns into November. Holidays are coming up. Gets a little colder. Gets darker a little earlier. And you're watching all these teams just way, way, way in front of you. And some guys, honestly, they pack it in. Some guys pack it in the end of November. Then you've got the whole month of December. You've got up until, I think they're playing into the first week of January now. Guys have already checked out mentally. They're already on their way to the beach. They're going to pick up whatever they need to go pick up, and they're going home. And if the Browns start out like in the dredges of the league, I'm talking 0-3, 0-4, 0-5, 0-6, 0-7. Maybe that's the plan. Folks, the quarterback class coming out next year is phenomenal. I'm basing that upon my belief that the young man in Texas, Arch Manning, is going to come out. He may not. I believe he's going to. But he's not the only one out there. There's some great quarterbacks out there. This was not the year of the quarterback in the draft. I don't think Cam Ward is all that. I don't think anybody in this draft, again, just my personal opinion, I don't think anybody in this draft is going to set the world on fire in the NFL. You can talk to me all you want about Cam Ward. Sorry, I don't see it. I don't see it with Shedeur. I don't see it with Jackson Dart. I don't see it with Dylan Gabriel. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a scout. Never claimed to be. But I watch enough football. I watch enough college ball. I watch enough pro ball. I read enough. I watch enough clips. I watch when a guy sometimes buckles when it gets a little bit hot, or buckles when it gets a little cold. I don't think any of these guys that came out as quarterbacks this year are going to have great NFL careers. I wish them all the best. I wish them the best of health. Go get it. This is your dream. Live it. Grind it. Go for it. I don't see it. This upcoming draft is going to be where it's at. And we'll see where the Browns are then. And if they if they happen to rip off a 2-15 season, okay. Then we got a shot. We got ourselves in a position to really go get somebody and then start to build this thing from the inside out. They just started a little bit of the peripheral building in this last draft. Little bit. And you got to remember, Joel Bitonio in a couple of years, he's not going to be around. A couple other guys aren't going to be around. You play what you can play in the NFL. You get as much as you can out of your body. It's time to say goodbye. You'll have to reinforce there. You'll have to replace that. But once you finally find that franchise quarterback, then you can get serious. Everything up until now is bullcrap. It's bullcrap. It's all window dressing. It's all hoping, wishing, praying, thinking, wondering. Until you get the quarterback. And I don't think that quarterback's on this roster. Let's not kid ourselves. Kenny Pickett, good dude, not a great quarterback. Joe Flacco, 40 years old. Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur, Our franchise quarterback, the quarterback that's going to lead this Browns franchise, hopefully someday, somewhere good, is not even on this roster right now. That's just where we're at. That's just where we're at. That's the reality of what? The reality of the situation. 23 minutes after the hour, we'll take a break. Thoughts, comments, we'll get you to 3-Question Thursday rolling up here. 330-821-1310. You can always text the show at 330-924-7088. It is the Sam Bourquin Show. If you're out and about, be careful out there. Looks like some storms may be popping up here again pretty soon. Stay with us. More to come on 1310 WDPN.
The Canton Greek Fest returns June 5th, 6th, and 7th, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. each day, featuring indoor and outdoor dining, the St. Haralambos Hellenic dancers, cooking demos, kids' playground, wine tasting, drive-thru, and so much more. Outdoor dance party Thursday with DJ Puff. Friday night, Greek night with DJ Vasilios. And professional fireworks show Saturday night. Visit CantonGreekFest.com for all the details, menus, and more. Canton Greek Fest, June 5, 6, and 7 at 251 25th Street Northwest in Canton.
Possibilities are all around us. Everywhere we look, we see opportunity in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action in communities all around the world that we call home. Like transforming an old bus to feed hungry children, or providing life-saving equipment to those who need it most. From fighting disease to rebuilding schools, together we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved today at rotary.org/action.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back. A couple of minutes before we get you to the news and weather at the bottom of the hour. 3-Question Thursday quiz. Number 1, what's your excitement level from 1 to 10 for the Cleveland Browns upcoming season? Question 2, who wins the NBA title? Pacers or Thunder? Question 3, what's the most amount of cars you are willing to sit behind at the fast food drive-thru? Let's see here. Ryan on Facebook says, my meter for the Browns is at an 8. I'm excited to watch Kent McKinley's Harold Fannin on the field. He'll take the Oakland. Ooh, he's got a sweep. Thunder in 4. Ryan says he'll wait in 5 cars. Unless it's Chick-fil-A, he'll wait for an eternity. Laura Ford says 10. Go Browns. She'll take the Pacers to win the NBA title. She says she will wait behind at least 8 cars at the fast food drive-thru. Mark Hill says, for the Browns, my excitement level is at about a 5. He'll take Oklahoma City to win the title. He says he'll wait behind 6 cars. Here's another one. Unless it's Chick-fil-A, I'll wait for 20. Andy Mees. Andy, hope you're well. He says his Brown's excitement meter is at a 0. He'll take Oklahoma City to win the title. He will sit behind no more than 3 cars at the drive-thru. I got to tell you, and I go to way too many fast food places. I've got to get away from that. But sometimes that's just what you got time for. And if I roll into a fast food drive-thru parking lot, I don't care if it's the Arches. I don't care if it's the one where they say you rule. I don't care if it's the girl with the red pigtails. I don't care if it's, T-Bell. If I pull into that parking lot and if I see 2 cars or more, I'm out. I am out. I'm not waiting. I will get out of the parking lot. I will go to the next place. And if I pull in there and I see 3 or 4 cars, out. I'll go down the road. I'll go to the next one. Whoa, 7 cars. Forget it. I'll move on down to the next one. Now, by the time I get to the 5th or 6th place, it's probably somewhere where I don't even want to go. But if there's only 1 or 2 cars, I'll pull in there and I'll gladly wait. Now, Chick-fil-A, maybe 5 or 6. Now, here's where my story goes aloof. At Raising Cane's, I'll wait for 15 or 20 cars. But you zip through that drive-through line. It's a whole lot faster. But just like a lot of you are saying, you'll sit behind 8 cars, 10 cars, 9 cars, however long it takes. I can't do it. I really can't do it. Great response today again on the 3-question Thursday quiz. All right, news and weather coming up at the bottom. Stick around. Get your ball glove on. Put your cap on. We're going to talk to Matt Underwood, Cleveland Guardians TV. All about Guardians baseball coming up here at 4:35. 1310 WDPN. It's the Sam Bourquin Show. Stay with us.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. President Trump is threatening to cut Elon Musk's government contracts as their fractured alliance rapidly escalated into a public feud. Hours after Trump lamented his breakup with Musk and said today that he was disappointed in his former supporter and advisor, Musk responded on social media. Trump then escalated the feud by threatening to use the U.S. government to hurt Musk's bottom line. Trump wrote on his social media network, "Easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts." Musk has criticized the president's budget proposal and called on his supporters to tell lawmakers to kill the bill. A family attorney says an 18-year-old Massachusetts high school student arrested by immigration agents on his way to volleyball practice was ordered released on $2,000 bond today. Alongside supporters, attorney Robin Nice spoke outside the courthouse in Chelmsford, Massachusetts, and said the teen should be released later today.
It's unlikely to be arrested by ICE again when you've been released on bond already, so I think he'll have that certain level of security, but it's hard to know, and times are changing, and if it's not him, there's so many people in his situation.
Marcelo Gomez de Silva's attorney says the teen was sleeping on a cement floor with about 40 others at a detention facility in Burlington, Massachusetts, after he was taken into custody last week. He was brought to the U.S. from Brazil at age 7. Israel has recovered the bodies of 2 Israeli-American hostages taken during Hamas's October 2023 attack that started the war in the Gaza Strip. According to health officials in the territory, Israeli strikes overnight and into today killed at least 13 people, including 3 local journalists who were in the courtyard of a hospital. The military said it targeted a militant in that strike. Israel says the remains of Judah Weinstein and Gad Haggai were recovered in a special operation by the Army and the Shin Bet Internal Security Agency. The military says they were killed in the October 7th attack. Hamas-led militants are still holding 56 hostages, around a third of them believed to be alive. Consumer goods company Procter & Gamble says they will conduct large-scale layoffs, as we hear from ABC's Alex Stone.
Procter & Gamble says it will be cutting up to 7,000 jobs over the next 2 years as the company says it's trying to navigate tariff impacts and slower growth. As it moves toward the future, Procter & Gamble says it will be exiting some of the brands it owns. It says it thinks it will take about a $600 million hit in fiscal year 2026 based on current tariff rates. Alex Stone, EBC News.
It's 78 degrees in Alliance at 432. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Muir.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Showers and thunderstorms are likely throughout the afternoon, a high near 80. Keep the umbrella handy if you're heading outdoors tonight. Showers and thunderstorms possible once again with a low near 63. A chance of morning showers Friday, and the threat of showers and thunderstorms returns during the afternoon, otherwise mostly cloudy with a high around 76. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Got big dreams of a better career? Whether you're looking to learn new skills or level up in your current field, Ohio Meets Jobs Stark and Tuscarawas counties is here to help you turn that daydream into your day job. We'll take care of your training costs so you can focus on building the skills you need for a brighter future in fields such as healthcare or skilled trades. Call us or visit our website at omjwork.com to learn more, because your future is closer than you think.
Hey drivers, it's Ryan Blaney, your 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion and driver of the number 12 Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Do you know one of the most important things that helps keep my car going on the track? Tire pressure. Keeping your tires properly inflated is crucial for safe stopping power and better gas mileage. Check your tire pressure at least once a month or stop by a local tire retailer for an air check.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back, everybody. 4:35 on your Thursday afternoon, 330-821-1310. You can text 330-924-7088. Sam, speaking of waiting, we rarely go out to dinner on weekends because I refuse to wait more than 10 or 15 minutes for a table. Seems like it's always 30 to 45 minutes, which is no way. I don't care where it is. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Okay, I just got a text from Matt Underwood, CLE Guardians TV. And I think we had a little time screw up, so nope. Oh, nope, that's what we told him. We told him 4:30. He says he's tied up now. Hang loose. Maybe he can come on here in a little bit. So I'm just kind of reading that as we go.
That explains why he did not answer his phone just now.
Yeah, well, you know what I did? Oh, my God, this is all on me. I reached out to Matt on Monday, and I said, what's good for you, Tuesday or Wednesday? He says, either one. And I said, well, let's go on Thursday. Let's go on Thursday. And I said, how does 4:30 work? He says, perfect. Which day is best again? He said, Thursday. I respond, great. We'll call you at 3:30. Thanks. That's on me. So that's my bad. I need a secretary. Now, what are you going to do? 330-821-1310 is our telephone number. And the Guardians do play the Yankees tonight at 7:05. Slade Ciccone against Max Fried. Slade Ciccone is 1-1 with an ERA of 5.28. Max Fried has been chucking. 7-1 with a 1.92 earned run average. Now, the Guardians picked up a nice win last night. And again, Jose Ramirez, the hero, Daniel Schneemann played a big part in the game last night. The pitching was phenomenal again. And then we bring in our guy, Emmanuel Clase. Got a little tense there in the bottom of the ninth inning. You got a couple guys on. They pushed the run across, but he was able to get out of it. So as we sit here today, the Guardians are 33-27. They are still 6.5 behind the Tigers in the division. Detroit is 41-22. That's a percentage of .651. The Tigers are 21-8 at home. They're 20-14 on the road. Now, Minnesota kind of skipped over us here. They're 34-27, so we're a half game behind the Twins. Royals are fading. They're 8 out now at 32-29. In the Yankees, the good old American League East, New York is 37-23. They are 5.5 in front of Tampa Bay, 5.5 in front of Toronto, 9 ahead of Boston, and 13 in front of Baltimore. So the Guards are just kind of treading water here right now. Now, the Astros come to town this weekend. That ain't going to be easy. Houston's going to come in. Altuve, they still got some of the crew. They're 33-28. They are 7-3 in their last 10. Guards are 5-5 in their last 10. Tigers are 8-2. We've said it once. We've said it a couple times. They're not going anywhere. They're going to keep winning at a very high level. I know anything can happen. What are we, 50? We're 60 games into the season, okay? Out of 100, so we have 102 games left. It's a lot of baseball. We got to go through the month of June. It's going to heat up in July. You got the dog days of August, a little bit of September. Then we find out what we're going to do. So there's a lot of time. There's a lot of baseball to be played. But if you ask me, the division, that right now it looks like that's not going to be the way for us to go. That's okay. As long as I get a seat at the table, I'm fine. You figure the Yankees are just going to get better because they've got a ton of guys, that are hurt, or, Stanton's hurt again. A lot of guys have been hurt. Some of their pitching staff has been hurt. They're going to heal up. They're going to get better, or they're going to go out and get somebody and get better. Okay. Tampa Bay, Toronto, they're both hanging around 500. Their season could go either way. I don't see either Toronto or Tampa Bay going on a long win streak, but I could see them losing 7 of 10, 8 of 12. Okay. Minnesota 34-27. That's a team you're fighting with almost already for maybe one of the 3 wild card spots. And again, there's over 100 games to play, but they don't put those wild card standings on the internet and in the paper for no reason, because it's already in play. Wild card season is already in play. And then you got to look at the West. We're focused in on the Central and the East. You got to look at the West. Look at the records of the teams there. Houston, 33-28. Seattle, 32-28. Okay? They're going to be in there. Now, Texas, there's a little fall off, Angels, and then the A's. Even a team like Texas could get hot. The Angels could get hot. I doubt it, but they could. So right now, if everything stopped today, Yankees, Tigers, Astros would be in as your division winners. And then your wild card teams, you would have Minnesota, Cleveland, and Seattle. So that's where you're at. But if you can win tonight, and I don't want to make more of a game in early June than it needs to be. Let's just say you get a win tonight. You get out of the Bronx at 34-27. You will have taken 2 out of 3 from a really good New York team who is 9 games over 500 when they play in Yankee Stadium. if you win tonight, you certainly will have beat the odds makers because you are a prohibitive underdog tonight with Ciccone and Max Fried with the pitching matchup. If you can get out of New York tonight with a win, then you come home. Nice weather. I'm pretty sure you're going to have some big crowds this weekend. You know, people still love to boo the Astros when they come to town. Somebody undoubtedly will sneak a trash can in to Progressive Field and bang on it with a stick or a club. You know that'll happen. So the Astros come in. Let's say you get close to filling the place up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Say you take 2 out of 3 there. Okay? Now you're 36-28. You almost have to be, right? You almost have to be to stay in that wild card race. And then who knows what the Detroit Tigers will be up to. Tigers and the White Sox, as we speak, 2-2 in the bottom of the ninth in Chicago. So let's put our White Sox caps on here for a minute, and let's see if they can knock the Tigers off today in the Windy City. Top of the sixth, Blue Jays hammering the Phillies 8-0. A's pounding the Twins 7-1 in the fourth. O's and M's are tied at 1 in the fourth. Padres Giants 2-zip San Diego in the third. Mets lead the Dodgers 1-0 in the second. By the way, Canton Central Catholic baseball today, still scheduled for a 5 o'clock first pitch in Massillon against Waynedale. The winner there goes to the state tournament at Canal Park in Akron next weekend. So best of luck to the Crusaders today. Haven't gotten any word yet on any weather delays. I know it's rained a lot here in Alliance the last hour and a half or so. I'm not sure what it's doing to the east of us, or the west, I should say. But as of right now, unless anything has changed, Central Catholic Waynedale, 5 o'clock today for the regional championship in baseball. We will have updates for you as they happen over at Ducky Schroeder Field. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Thanks for watching and listening today as well on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. We will be talking with Sam Amico from Hoopswire at 5:35 today, and we'll be talking NBA Finals. We'll talk Cavs. We'll talk possible free agency, possible trades. That's all coming up with Sam Amico at 5:35 here this afternoon. All right, we're coming up on 4:46. We will step aside. Again, phones are open at 330-821-1310. You are listening to the Sam Bourquin Show, live and local right here on AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com.
You've always enjoyed an active lifestyle, hiking with family, resort vacations, the occasional trip to the spa, and nights out with friends at your favorite restaurants. You want and need your lifestyle to follow you into your retirement years. Now, imagine a place with peaceful surroundings, resort amenities, and easy access to city life. It's just around the corner at Copeland Oaks. Copeland Oaks has earned a reputation as more than a retirement destination, but also a place to call home. An independent consultant for senior living rated Copeland Oaks with a perfect score, and it's easy to see why. Maintain your lifestyle on the beautiful Copeland Oaks campus with all the amenities you love, and if you need it down the road, assistance is there. Keep living your life to its fullest at Copeland Oaks, your all-inclusive senior living resort. Visit CopelandOaks.com for more information. That's CopelandOaks.com.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org. a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Hey Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. You've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back. It's starting to rumble thunder again over here in the Carnation City. Rainsburg, your window's up.
Yep. I double-checked.
I had to go out and put mine up about an hour ago. You know, it poured over here. What, about 2:10 to 2:35?
Yeah, it was
something like that.
20 minutes of just pure monsoon out there.
And I had just gone down the street to set a convenience store to go down and get my Polar Pop. Guess where that was from. And actually not a pop, it's a fruit punch. But anyway, and I'm like, I'm not even going inside. I'm just going to sit here. I waited for 15 minutes until the rain stopped. Then I went and I got my fruit punch and got back in the car and headed back up. That's like, it takes me 3 minutes to get there, maybe. It's like, it's a curse almost, because I'm like, well, I can always go and pick something up, right before the show or right after or whatever, being that close. It's just like my car gets sucked into the parking lot over there. But man, it was coming down. I got to admit, it was funny. I do find a lot of sick entertainment value in watching people pull into the gas station and run in from their car in a monsoon. I don't know why that makes me laugh, but it does. And that's exactly why I don't get out of the car, because I don't want to be the one being laughed at. I just sat there. Hey, I just got a text back from Matt Underwood. I said, Matty, I'm sorry I screwed the times up. Have a good call tonight. Go Guards. He says, no problem. We're getting old, pal. Laughing emojis. Yep, he's right. He is absolutely right. All right, we got about 10 minutes until the top of the hour. What do you say we go back in here and read some of our comments on the 3-question Thursday quiz? Lots of great comments again coming in today via all of our social media platforms. X, Facebook, YouTube page. You can also call in at 330-821-1310. By the way, Rubber Ducks tomorrow night. Shane Bieber is still scheduled to throw tomorrow night up in Akron. So if you want to go check him out, you might want to get your tickets ahead of time. I got a feeling that's going to be crazy up there tomorrow night. Okay, let's get back to the quiz here. Jeff Harlow says the Browns' excitement meter is a 5. He'll take the Pacers to win the series. He will sit behind 4 cars in the drive-thru. Eric Fouts, his excitement level for the Browns is a 5. He'll take the Thunder. Is anybody taking the Pacers to win the finals?
I am.
I have not written. Well, no. Doug Kreiner said he'll take the Pacers, and Jennifer Scafidi says she'll take the Pacers. Everything else is Thunder. I'm telling you, I think it's going to be a great series. I really do. Bill Elliott says fever meter for the Browns at a 3. He'll take the Pacers. He'll sit behind 4 cars max in the parking lot. Doug Parton says he'll take the Pacers to win. He's got the Browns excitement meter at a 4. He says, Sammy, I almost always order ahead on mobile apps for fast food. So I have no choice but to wait no matter how many cars there are. Okay. Don't they have separate driving for that, though? Or separate parking? Can't you pull into a different where it says mobile pickup or whatever? Can't you just park there?
I think it
and they bring it out
on
to
the,
you?
I think it depends on the restaurant. Some will just have you do it through the drive-through.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you're kind of setting yourself up for some nonsense there. Doug Craddock says that his Browns meter's at 1.5 for this year. He says, and the Thunder rolls in the NBA Finals. He says, I always order on the apps. Here's another one. But if it's 10 deep, change location like others have mentioned. If some of the God's chicken, then I will wait however long it takes. Okay. Boy, people, they will wait and wait and wait and wait for Chick-fil-A. Lori says the Browns' excitement meter's at a 7. Here we go. She'll take the Pacers to win. She will sit behind no more than 5 cars in the fast food lane. Let's see here. Matt Kirkbride says his Browns' excitement meter's at a 5. He's got the Thunder and a praying emoji. Okay. He'll sit behind at least 6 cars in the fast food drive-thru. All right, Rainsburg. Cleveland Browns, your fever meter, your excitement scale, 1 to 10. Where's it at?
That's going to be at a 1, Sam.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, no, I don't really watch football. I'll watch basketball. My Cleveland Cavaliers excitement meter would be higher, but
my work is cut out for me with you.
Yeah, no, I'm a basketball person. I really am. If I'm going to watch any sport, it's going to be basketball.
Okay. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep working.
You can try.
I'm going to keep trying. All right, question 2. Who wins the title, man? Pacers or the Thunder?
I'm rooting for the Pacers.
All right.
I don't know if they're going to win, but I'm rooting for them. I hope they do.
I like it. All right, question 3. When Rainsburg pulls into the fast food drive-thru, how many cars are you willing to sit behind?
Most places, I think my cap is like 4. 4 cars is probably my limit.
Okay.
But if it's a place I know is going to be slow, I won't wait. I won't pull up behind more than 2 cars. I go to Pulp every day. If Pulp's got more than 2 cars, I'll go inside. So,
I see you are a frequent visitor to Pulp.
I like to go to Pulp, yes.
My man comes in here every day with a big foam cup of whatever.
It's a Red Bull smoothie. It's very good.
Oh, it's a Red Bull smoothie.
Yeah, it's
okay.
There's berries in it. It's not all terrible.
All right. Well, that's not bad.
No.
Did you get that Acai stuff?
No, I don't usually. I don't go for Acai.
ACI or whatever they call
Acai.
it.
I don't know how you. I think it's Acai.
Acai, whatever.
Yeah.
So my next question, this just popped into my head, and I am guilty of doing this. In a crowded drive-thru, you place your order. They read it back to you. They give you your total. Okay, we'll see you at the window. And you leave. Because you see in front of you, it is taking forever for the people to get served their food at the drive-thru. And there could be 3 cars, there could be 5 or 6. And I'm like, you know what? I feel bad. I've already placed my order. They're probably in the midst of making the food as we speak. I'm out of here. And I leave. Should I feel bad? Is that a bad move?
I think it depends on the place. Some place like McDonald's, I wouldn't feel bad about that at all because that's all pre-made anyway. They're not making you anything right that second back there. Even like Cane's, a lot of it's just, they have a lot of it pre-made, ready to go because it's the same thing everybody's ordering, just different amounts. It's throw it in there. You're not hurting anybody.
I just wonder if that's just bad etiquette because, the girl or guy took my order. They went through the trouble to punch it in. They got my total for me. And like, it's not them that I'm waiting on. It's the people at the other window that are getting the food and giving it to the other people. But then I wonder about I see some people in front of me, or I'll see cars with like 7 or 8 people. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me now. Because that's a $30 or $40 order, and you're just going to sit there and wait.
Yeah.
When I see 3 or 4 heads in the back seat, I'm out.
Yeah, that's totally
I know
fair.
that is just That's just nonsense. I'm not waiting because you're ordering everything. And then there's the, welcome to, can I help you? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What you want over there, Jay? Can I get a number? No, wait a minute. Make that a make that a 1. Can I get it with? Shut up. Just get out of my way. Quit. Getting angry. Quit
Sam.
Making it more difficult than it needs to be. Quit telling him to take items off. Just go somewhere else.
I have the epitome of that for you. That happened to me one time. I was in the Dairy Queen drive-thru, and I swear to God, the person in front of me in the drive-thru ordering their food was deaf. So they had to pull through to the window and communicate via writing things on a piece of paper back and forth.
Oh, well,
And I was like, I felt bad because obviously they're deaf, but in that situation, you could go inside, I would go inside. It would be easier.
You know what? That's the thing. There are some places you are better off just pulling off into the little area, get out of your car, go in, order. You'll be back in your car and on your way, and there's maybe one car that has moved since you pulled into the lot.
Exactly.
It's just, what do? We're lazy. We want to sit in the car. We don't want to get out. Everything's got to be boom, boom, boom. We don't want to, pull into a space and take the time to lock our car up and go inside. That's on us. And I'm guilty of that sometimes too. Now, sometimes I will go in, but most of the time I'll wait a little bit. But like I said, if it's more than 3 cars, I'm on down the road. I'll see you. All right. News and weather coming up here at the top of the hour. One more big hour to go on the Sam Bourquin Show. Be careful if you're out and about. Some thunder boomers are in the area, so please be careful. News and weather next on 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
News, weather, sports, local information, and music 24 hours a day. This is AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A new travel ban set to go into effect next week. President Trump issuing full and partial bans on 19 countries, he says, due to the recent Boulder firebomb attack as the reason. ABC's Karen Travers has more.
The president was asked specifically why Egypt was not included, because in the video he released last night, he cited the Boulder, Colorado attack as a reason why he's moving forward on this right now. That was, of course, the suspect in that attack was an Egyptian man who had overstayed his visa. The president said Egypt is a country that the United States deals with very closely. He said they have things under control, and the countries that are on the list do not.
In an unprecedented move, Secretary of State Marco Rubio announcing the U.S. would sanction 4 International Criminal Court judges. He says we're, quote, directly engaged in efforts by the ICC to investigate, arrest, detain, and prosecute nationals of the U.S. and Israel. This is ABC News.
Offered on.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams 4-day super sale and get 40% off paints and stains June 6th through the 9th. With prices starting at $29.39, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
It's Macy's Friends and Family Sale, which means if you're shopping for summer, you can get insider deals on our best brands, even ones that aren't usually on sale, like an extra 30% off Hugo Boss, Calvin Klein, Levi's, and more. Plus, get 15% off beauty and fragrance. And with Father's Day just around the corner on June 15th, it's a great time to shop for Dad. Stop by Macy's today and walk out with the perfect gift. Don't miss Friends and Family. Going on now, only at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. Washington Township trustees are advising anyone asked to sign a petition for a proposed constitutional amendment to eliminate property taxes in Ohio to consider the consequences. Trustee Wayne Wallace said during Monday's meeting that the township receives roughly 65% of operating funds from levies paid for with property taxes. If the state changes to a sales tax, Wallace adds the rate would be reduced to about 20%. Supporters of the proposal say high property taxes are forcing people out of their homes. Opponents argue that eliminating such taxes could have severe consequences for the state and local governments. The Ohio Ballot Board last month certified the proposed amendment. Petitioners were given 6 weeks to gather enough signatures from voters in 44 counties to secure a spot on the November ballot. A unanimous Supreme Court has made it easier to bring lawsuits over so-called reverse discrimination, siding with a woman from Greene who claims she didn't get a job and then was demoted because she is straight. Today's decision from justices affects lawsuits in 20 states and the District of Columbia, where until now, courts had to set a higher bar when members of a majority group, such as those who are white and heterosexual, sue for discrimination under federal law. The court ruled in an appeal from Marlene Ames, who has worked for the Ohio Department of Youth Services for more than 20 years. Both the job she sought and the one she had were given to LGBTQ people. A trial court and the 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals had ruled against Ames. Canton police are investigating a shooting that injured a 16-year-old girl Tuesday night. Officers responded to the 2100 block of 7th Street Northeast shortly after 9 p.m. The Canton teen was found inside a home. She suffered a gunshot wound to the head. A witness told police the injury may have been self-inflicted. The Stark County grand jury has indicted a man on charges of sexual battery, domestic violence, and intimidation. 50-year-old Gregory Sturm of Massillon was arrested and booked at the county jail Tuesday. He's scheduled for arraignment today in common pleas court. According to the indictment, Sturm participated in sexual activity with a juvenile from December 2023 to January 2024. The victim was 16. Sturm also allegedly harmed or attempted to harm a female family member April 13th. He's accused of threatening the victim and a witness May 29th. The Akron-Canton Regional Food Bank is celebrating the completion of its Harvest for Hunger campaign. The 34th annual fundraiser collected food and funds that will provide as many as 4.5 million meals for the region. The food bank says nearly 100 businesses, schools, and faith-based organizations collected food and funds on their behalf. Thousands of people also made donations during checkout at their local Bueller's Fresh Foods, Dave's Market, Giant Eagle, Get-Go gas station, or Heinen's grocery store. Campaign focuses on fighting hunger across 21 counties in Northeast Ohio. The Columbiana County grand jury has indicted a man accused of shooting a teen in Wellsville. 20-year-old Emery Childs of Wellsville is charged with attempted murder, felonious assault, tampering with evidence, and inducing panic. He allegedly shot a 15-year-old boy in the wrist during a confrontation on 18th Street, April 27th. Childs remains in the county jail on $500,000 bond. Sentencing is scheduled tomorrow for a woman who admitted to setting fire to a Salem apartment building. A jury in Columbiana County Common Pleas Court found 34-year-old Alicia Craig of Salem guilty of 2 counts of aggravated arson Wednesday. She faces up to 23 years in prison. The charges stem from a May 2024 blaze on East 6th Street. Residents safely evacuated, but 2 firefighters suffered minor injuries while putting out the flames. A lawsuit filed over changes to Salem rental property registration fees has been transferred to federal court. Columbiana County Judge Megan Bickerton agreed to the transfer. 4 property owners filed the suit, saying the occupancy license applications, fees, and inspection requirements are unconstitutional. An amended city ordinance requires inspection of rental properties, payment of a $35 fee for each occupancy license application, and $72 per rental unit for each license. The suit asks the assessments be declared an unlawful tax and that the city has been unjustly enriched by the fees. Compensation paid to a former Girard Schools treasurer was careless, extravagant, and not representative of necessary business practices. That's according to the state auditor's office. The issue was noted in an audit of the district's finances from July 2023 to June 2024. Treasurer Mark Bello retired and was rehired by the school board in June 2022. Bello's contract included a base pay of $110,000 plus a 1% stipend of all federal, state, and local grants and certain other revenues received by the district. In 2024, he was paid about $443,000, including base pay and a $312,000 stipend. Auditors did not identify any findings for recovery, but recommended additional policies and procedures and legal reviews of employee contracts. A man is in stable condition after being crushed between a car door and a building in Youngstown. Police say he and another man were pushing a disabled vehicle on Logan Avenue on the city's north side around 12:40 Wednesday morning. The car was being moved to a parking lot but picked up speed, and the man pushing it by the front door was trapped as the vehicle slid along the side of a building. He freed himself and was taken to St. Elizabeth Health Center with injuries to his ribs and a lung. A woman is hospitalized after a shooting on Youngstown's east side. Police say the victim was shot around 4:20 this morning on North Garland Avenue by someone she knew. They believe a dispute preceded the gunfire. A woman identified as a suspect was arrested after officers saw her vehicle and pulled it over. She will be charged with felonious assault. The suspect's name has not been released. The victim is being treated at St. Elizabeth Health Center. A Boardman man who shot at another man near a bus stop in Liberty Township has pleaded guilty to a count of attempted felonious assault with a gun specification. 31-year-old 57-year-old Dennis Sklencher also pleaded guilty Wednesday in Trumbull County Common Pleas Court to having weapons under disability, tampering with evidence, and carrying a concealed weapon. Sklencher shot at a man on Belmont Avenue March 21st. Police said the bullet narrowly missed the victim when it passed through his jacket. The men did not know each other. Sklencher will be sentenced following a pre-sentence investigation. A man police said fired on a pickup truck, killing one man, was sentenced today to 40 and a half years in prison. 29-year-old Ian Rich of Newburgh Heights pleaded guilty to charges of involuntary manslaughter, attempted murder, and discharging a firearm. The incident occurred on I-77 South near Grant Avenue in Cuyahoga Heights. Rich shot a truck's driver, 57-year-old David Perez Jr., and injured its passenger, 59-year-old Jacqueline Perez, both of Garfield Heights. The woman was treated and later released at a hospital. After the shooting, police began searching for Rich, who was seen driving a car. He was arrested while traveling on I-77 in April 2024. A Cuyahoga County grand jury indicted 2 former Cleveland police officers for fraudulently taking state Paycheck Protection Program money. Anthony Schumpert and McKinley Weaver were indicted Monday on felony counts of grand theft and tampering with records. According to prosecutors, Weaver claimed he owned a t-shirt business and got about $20,000 in one PPP loan in April 2021. Schumpert claimed he owned a barbershop and received roughly $37,000 in 2 PPP loans in April and May of 2021. A Cleveland police spokesman says both Schumpert and Weaver resigned from the department last year. They are scheduled for arraignment June 18th. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 42,319, down 108 points. The Nasdaq Composite ended the day 162 points lower at 19,298, and the S&P 500 closed at 5,939, down 32 points. It's 77 degrees in Alliance at 5:09. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
The threat of showers and thunderstorms lingers throughout this afternoon with a high around 80. For the overnight, showers and thunderstorms once again with a low dipping to 63. Friday, a chance of morning showers, then an additional chance of showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon. Mostly cloudy, a high near 76. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
The Canton Greek Fest returns June 5th, 6th, and 7th, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. each day, featuring indoor and outdoor dining, the St. Haralambos Hellenic dancers, cooking demos, kids' playground, wine tasting, drive-thru, and so much more. Outdoor dance party Thursday with DJ Puff. Friday night, Greek night with DJ Vasilios. And professional fireworks show Saturday night. Visit CantonGreekFest.com for all the details, menus, and more. Canton Greek Fest, June 5, 6, and 7 at 251 25th Street Northwest in Canton.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
I mean, Schnee's been swinging the bat well all year. He's been one of our best hitters this year, and not to mention the defense at second base. But what a night for him! 3-hit night. You know, those aren't easy. Those don't come often. Schnee's been a huge part of what we've done so far this year.
Bouchard, Nugent Hopkins with it. Here's McDavid. Oh, Leon Draisaitl! The Oilers win game one. Fastball hit high and deep right center. And off the wall, and the Blue Jays win it.
You ready to go for hour number 3? Welcome back, everybody. Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, stream live at AM1310WDPN.com. You can check us out, Q92 Radio Facebook page and our YouTube channel. It's a 3-question Thursday. We've talked PGA Golf Tour today with Maxwell Moldovan. We have talked Browns football with Freddie Greetham. We will be talking NBA Finals and Cavs basketball with Sam Amico coming up at 5:35. We've got our On This Day in Sports History at around 5:27 today. It is also a 3-question Thursday. We'll get you the quiz here in a minute. Last I heard, I've been talking to a couple of folks here lately. Central Catholic Waynedale Division 5 Regional Championship at Ducky Schroeder Field in Massillon.
Turn up when the sun goes down.
I guess they've started it, from what I've heard, at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Now, I've talked to a couple of folks west of here, and they said the radar doesn't really look good after about 5:30. So we'll see what's going on. But apparently Central Catholic and Waynedale underway over in Massillon. Also, Lake Center Christian is playing for a D6 baseball championship today versus Kirtland. Are they good and everything? Kirtland? Jiminy Christmas. That game was over at the Field of Dreams in Louisville. And they're looking at maybe, 5:30 start over there because they had some rain over in Louisville, which is not that far from us here in Alliance. So that's the latest there. If we hear anything, we'll be sure to pass all of that information along to you. Before I go any further, I do want to shout out, we lost a lot of teams yesterday. We lost Glen Oak baseball. We lost Hoover baseball. We lost Jackson, and we lost Green. But I want to shout out to all the coaches, all the players, all the high schools in their communities for a great, great, and very entertaining baseball season. Green Bulldogs got hot, rode it to the regionals. Hoover got hot, got to the regionals. Glen Oak was just really good all year. Had a massive comeback in the 7th inning yesterday, and that's baseball. Glen Oak got 4 in the 7th. They gave up 1, and Medina got them. And Jackson, the team that I thought maybe, possibly, had the best chance of anybody to go all the way, just one of those days. And they, my dad used to say, someday you get the bear, some days the bear gets you. And that's what happened to our teams yesterday. But shout out to Billy Gamble and Brian Ashby and Ray Frisbee and head coach at Green. Good job, fellas. Way to go, and come back fighting again next year. Also, want to wish Perry and Jackson and Carrollton softball all the best as they go for state championships this weekend up at Firestone Stadium in Akron. And hopefully Mother Nature will behave this weekend and they can get all those games in. Now, recent improvements and renovations at Firestone, it's all turf, okay? Infield, outfield, you don't have to worry about dirt and mud and all that stuff. So hopefully they can get the games in this weekend and maybe a couple of state champions in softball from the Stark County area. So we got you all caught up there. Guards and Yankees tonight, 7:05. Slade Ciccone. Max Fried, the pitching matchup tonight at the stadium. If the Guards could get a win, they would get 2 out of 3 and come back home to take on the Astros over the weekend at Progressive Field. So we're hoping Slade Ciccone has one of those games tonight, and he's baffling Yankee hitters, and Cleveland can get out of there with a win, take 2 out of 3, and get back home and open up a 3-game set against the Stros coming up tomorrow. Also want to tell you about On This Day in Sports History. That's coming up here in about 10 minutes, so stick around for that. And our 3-question Thursday quiz is alive and happening once again today. Question number 1. Question number 1. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your excitement level for the upcoming Cleveland Browns season? Question number 2. Who wins the NBA title? Oklahoma City or Indiana? Question number 3, kind of a fun one. We've all been here. What's the maximum number of cars you're willing to sit behind at a fast food drive-thru? How many cars is enough? All right. Let us know. 821-1310, 821-1310. You can always text the show at 330-924-7088. You can drop comments on all of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, X, the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Get those comments out there. Get them flying. We'll read them back as we love to interact with you here on the show. All right. Let's see here. Doug over in Perry. It looks like a short shower around 6 o'clock. After that, things are looking better. The radar has changed twice in the last 30 minutes. So hopefully Central Catholic and Waynedale can get that game in over in Massillon. And hopefully the Crusaders can get a win for the area and head up to Canal Park this next weekend to play for a state championship in the OHSAA State Baseball Finals. All right, we've got Sam Amico, hoopswire.net, coming up here in just a couple minutes, about 15 minutes, and we'll talk a little NBA with Sammy. I'm excited about the NBA Finals tonight. I hate that we had to wait. How long do we have to wait? I think the Saturday night was the ender for the Eastern Conference Finals. So we had to wait Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's a long time. And I know that there are some NBA fans, if their team is out, they're out. They're done. It's out of sight, out of mind if their team got eliminated. And I'm not just talking about the Cavs. I'm talking about the Knicks. I could be talking about the Timberwolves, people that follow them, whatever. And I know it's already set in stone because of the TV networks, the travel, the hotels, and getting, trucks and equipment and everything set up. I get it. But to ask the casual basketball fan to wait 5 days to start an NBA Finals, I think you're asking a little too much. And I know you've also got to keep in mind, okay, when is the Eastern Conference Finals going to end? Let's just say the Knicks would have won Game 6. Game 7 would have been Monday. And then you're looking at a much quicker turnaround to Thursday because that game's already scripted in for Thursday. It's not moving. So I get that part of it. But I just think you're asking people to wait too long. Maybe for something that they're just casually interested in. I'll check it out. It's the finals. My team's out. I like watching Halliburton. I like watching SGA. These teams are fun. Good excitement in the arena. I'll take a shot. But if you got to make people wait, they forget about you. And once they forget about you, they usually don't come back. Now, the only thing that saves that particular crowd, that particular situation, is a Game 7. Now everybody's, I'm ready. I've been here the whole time. Let's go. Game 7 is a very special, small sentence, right? One word, one number gets people to turn their head. It gets people's eyes wide open. Game 7. That's it. It's winner take all. World Series, NBA Finals, Stanley Cup, Game 7. I would say over the span of my lifetime of really, getting into sports and watching them on TV, when I hear Game 7, I'm in. I don't care who's playing. I don't even care what sport it is. I'm in. Game 7s they're different. They're built different. There is the winner take all. It's the joy, the jubilation. Then it's the tension, the stress, the lose and you've lost everything. And you put that all in a mixing bowl and shake it up a little bit. And I think you like what you see when it comes out. There ain't nothing like a Game 7. I don't care what the sport is. We don't get Game 7s in college hoops. We don't get those in Super Bowls. We don't get them for the college football championship. We don't get them for the World Cup. Very few sports offer the opportunity for a Game 7. And it's really all you need to say. You don't even need to write articles. You don't need to get quotes. You don't need to put up. People hear Game 7, they've already got their remote in their hand, and they're ready to go. That's kind of the way I've always been. Now, if this series goes Game 7, I think you'll see some pretty incredible numbers as far as people watching. A lot of people think this thing could go. Some think it could go 4 and be done. Many think it'll be a gentleman's sweep. There are a few, and I happen to be in this crowd, I think it goes 6. Now, if it goes 7, save me a seat for that. Save me a seat for that for a Game 7. I get the schedule right here. Thursday night, 8:30, ABC, Game 1. Now we got to sit around and wait till Sunday for Game 2. Hate that. ABC. Game 3, June 11th, Oklahoma City. Game 4, June 13th, Oklahoma City. Or at Indiana, I'm sorry. Game 5 would shift back to Oklahoma City on June 16th. These games are all 8:30, by the way, except the Sunday games would be at 8 p.m. If there's a Game 6 at Indiana, June 19th, and then if there's a Game 7 at Oklahoma City on June 22nd at 8 p.m. So what's the date today? What is today, the 5th?
Today is the 5th.
So if this series goes 7 games, it's going to take 17 days. 17 days before we find out a champion. 17 days to play possibly 7 games. All right. Just got an update here from Dougie in the PTO. Central Catholic in Waynedale will not play today. Central Catholic in Waynedale will not play today. They will play tomorrow at 5 p.m. because of the weather. So Crusader fans and Golden Bear fans and baseball fans, no baseball in Massillon today. Waynedale, Canton Central Catholic, regional championship game tomorrow, 5 o'clock in Massillon. So, Doug, we appreciate that update there. All right. I had plans to scoot out of here as soon as the show was over to get over there. And if Central would win, get some interviews, get some videos, some photos, whatever. I don't have to do that today. Now that might be on the agenda for tomorrow. So Central Catholic Waynedale postponed today. They will play tomorrow, 5 o'clock at Ducky Schroeder Field in Massillon. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we get back, it's On This Day in Sports History. It's next on 1310 WDPN.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Welcome back, everybody. It's that time again. It is On This Day in Sports History on the Sam Bourquin Show. Here we go. 1963, the NHL held its first amateur draft. 21 players were selected. Montreal chose first and selected Gary Monahan. On this day in 1973, the first hole-in-one in the British Amateur Golf Championship was made by Jim Crowford. On this day in 1991, Brett Hall of the Blues won the Hart Trophy. How about that? That feat created the first father-son team to win the Hart Trophy. That's pretty cool right there. All right, time for the audio portion of On This Day in History. 1967, the NHL awarded 6 new franchises.
No professional sports league had ever doubled in size due to one expansion, but the NHL did just that when they admitted 6 new teams from Philadelphia, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Los Angeles, and Oakland. They were placed in the newly named Western Division.
How about that? They went from 6 to 12 teams in 1 year, and it's worked. On this day in 1989, the Toronto Blue Jays, they made their debut in what was called Sky Dome, and they played against the Milwaukee Brewers, but it did not work out well.
Hit the ball, the most likely spot you're going to get a base hit. You've got to be able to execute, but that's where the gap was. Only because Molitor had to stop as Freddie McGriff had him by the shoelace. So look, Molitor could go to third. So they're 2 on with 1 out for the 3-hitter, Gary Sheffield.
Oh, this is I don't think this is not the right one. Anyhow, the Blue Jays lost to the Milwaukee Brewers in their first ever game at Sky Dome. And finally, on this day in 2016, Novak Djokovic became the first man in nearly half a century to win 4 consecutive major championships and earned the French Open title to complete his career Grand Slam. And weather is coming up next. Stay right here. Much more of the Sam Bourquin Show on 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon, it's 5:30. Following his departure from the Trump administration just days ago, the world's richest man is ramping up his criticism of President Trump's budget bill. ABC's Karen Travers reports the president responded while meeting with the German chancellor earlier today.
It was really striking to hear President Trump seem to turn on Elon Musk there. He has been quiet for the last couple of days as Elon Musk has been criticizing the signature piece of legislation for the president's whole term right now. This is the big domestic agenda bill, the big tax policy bill. Elon Musk has called it an abomination, has been encouraging people to reach out to lawmakers to kill the bill. The president there said multiple times he is very disappointed in Elon Musk.
Trump is threatening to cut Elon Musk's government contracts. President Trump is again banning people from countries his administration deems dangerous from coming to America. The travel ban issued Wednesday is a repeat of an order of his first administration that led to widespread confusion at airports. This version includes countries such as Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. The president's first travel ban was issued in 2017 and banned travel to the U.S. by citizens of 7 predominantly Muslim countries. The order was retooled until a version was upheld by the Supreme Court in 2018. After exploding to a record high $138 billion in March, the nation's trade deficit declined in April. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
As President Trump ramped up threats of tariffs earlier this year, U.S. companies and consumers ramped up their purchases of foreign goods in March to beat anticipated price increases. But as tariff rhetoric softened in April, imports decreased, exports increased, and the U.S. trade deficit dropped to $61.6 billion.
Another ex-girlfriend who alleges she was abused by Sean Diddy Combs and forced to participate in drug-fueled sex marathons has begun testifying at his sex trafficking trial in New York. She took the stand today under the pseudonym Jane. The music mogul has pleaded not guilty to running his business empire as a racketeering enterprise that enabled the abuse of women. Testimony resumed earlier today with the cross-examination of a woman who alleges Combs dangled her off a balcony. The judge warned his lawyers that Combs had been nodding at the jury and said if it happens again, Combs could be kicked out of the courtroom. It's 76 degrees and Alliance at 532. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For the remainder of your afternoon, showers and thunderstorms likely with a high reaching 80. For the overnight, showers and thunderstorms and a low around 63. Friday, a possibility of morning showers, then another chance for showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon, otherwise mostly cloudy skies and a high near 76. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Hey Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back to the show, 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com. Again, the Central Catholic Waynedale Division 5 Baseball Regional Championship game today has been postponed because of weather. They will play tomorrow, 5 o'clock at Ducky Schroeder Field in Massillon. So no Crusaders, no Waynedale baseball today because of the weather. And I believe the Lake Center Christian game has also been postponed until tomorrow, and they will play that game over in Louisville. All right. So, boy, Mother Nature, thanks a lot. Maybe tomorrow will be better. I believe they're still calling for a little bit of rain activity tomorrow. I'm not 100% certain, but yeah, no baseball today for high school. They'll try it again tomorrow. That's baseball. Softball wise, games still on. As far as Perry and Jackson are concerned, Perry plays at 10 a.m. Saturday morning. Jackson will play at 5:30 on Saturday afternoon. So we got you all caught up there here on the program. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. You can text the show at 330-924-7088. Want to thank PGA Tour Pro Maxwell Moldovan for joining us earlier in the program. And thanks to Freddie Greetham from the Orange and Brown Report. We had to reschedule Matt Underwood from Cleveland Guardians TV. We'll catch up with Matty next week and talk some Guardians baseball here on the program. All right. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. We're finally ready. NBA Finals. Let's go. Pacers Thunder, Game 1 in Oak City. Let's bring on Sam Amico, Hoops Wire, joining us here on the show today. Samuel, good afternoon. How's your Thursday going?
It's not bad, Sam. Staying active, on the website, which is no different now than it is in October, August, January, name the month.
I know you've been pounding away, my friend. Good stuff out there. There's really never a dull moment. I remember growing up way back then, we would go days without, we didn't know about stuff that was going on. Then we couldn't talk about it. And now it's like it seems like every 15 seconds, breaking news, something's going on. And you do a great job keeping us in touch there and keep on doing your thing. All right, finally, we're going to play some basketball tonight. And it looks like the experts feel that this is going to be a rout tonight. Oklahoma City is gearing toward being a 10-point favorite tonight. How do you see game one shaking out with the Thunder and Pacers tonight, Sam?
Well, my first thought about the finals is everybody seems to be way underrating what Indiana has done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of been the whole playoffs, really, since January 1st. But, these are the top two teams since the start of 2025. Since January 1st, these two teams have compiled the best record. And, I think it's going to be very interesting. Indiana has more potential, I would say, to collapse a little bit, though we haven't seen that. We also saw the Thunder lose by like 44 points to the Timberwolves in Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. So, it's hard for me to predict other than, yes, the Thunder have home court advantage. They're going to be at home. It's going to be crazy there. But we have to keep in mind, Sam, and this is an incredibly wishy-washy answer, but Indiana won the first two games on the road of each of the previous series.
Yep.
So they beat the Cavs in Cleveland the first two games. They beat the Knicks in New York the first two games. So they've been very proficient, very good on the road. Meanwhile, Oklahoma City hasn't, has been practically unstoppable at home, and the playoffs are really anywhere. So, I'm going to go with Oklahoma City because it's the smart pick, but I really think that this is a series that could potentially go 7 games and be really tight throughout.
Yeah, Sammy, I don't guarantee anything in life, but I really think this is going to go 6. I think Oklahoma City wins. I wouldn't shock me if the alternate happened, but I think and I'm with you. I think the Indiana Pacers, for whatever reason, people are watching them. Either they don't appreciate what they're seeing, or they don't think that they can keep it up or take it up another half level against a talented team like OKC. I like the chances with Indiana. I love what Rick Carlisle does. I love how he coaches, and I love when you think Indiana, they may lose a gallon or two from their tank, and all of a sudden, boom, it's an 8-10-0 run. That's how they play.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And they have, as we've seen through the playoffs, it's not just Halliburton, Siakam, Miles Turner, these other guys like Nesmith, Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard. These guys are hitting shots. Obi Toppin's coming off the bench and hitting shots. Benedict Mathurin comes in, hits shots. He's, an irritant to the opponent. They have a lot of guys and play a very similar style when it comes to bench, toughness, ball movement as the Thunder. So these two teams, really mirror each other in many ways. Oftentimes, and I even, which is rare because I've been doing this so long that I just turn on the game and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've even gone ahead of it, gotten ahead of it and looked at the potential matchups. And I'm like, my gosh, this series, if everybody plays well, nobody lays an egg.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have 2 or 3 guys coming out for Indiana or 2 or 3 guys coming out for Oklahoma City and laying an egg because this is the finals, these matchups to me it's like, gosh, this is dead even, the way they've been playing in the playoffs at least. So, yeah, I think it has the makings of, somebody rising as a star, and usually you go with the team that has the best player, right? You usually pick a NBA MVP, his team, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that team's going to win. But I just think Indiana just has so many weapons, and the way they run their offense, it really could be up for grabs.
Sam Amico is our guest here on the program, AM 1310 WDPN. Check him out, HoopsWire, Amico Hoops. He's got it all rolling for you on X. Check him out. So I know everybody's a professional. Everybody's tough. Everybody wants to win. They're going to play hard. But just for fun, Sammy, between these two teams, who's the tougher team? Who's got a little bit more grit? Would it be Indiana or no?
Yeah, I would. That's another thing I've gone back and forth on. So you're probably going to get another wishy-washy answer. But I would probably lean toward slightly Indiana, and very slightly, because Oklahoma City has guys that like to mix it up, and Lou Dort and Jalen Williams, and those guys, Isaiah Hartenstein, those guys are just fine mixing it up and banging around. Alex Caruso, obviously one of the toughest defenders in the league, and gets very physical. I mean, he defended Nikola Jokic in that Denver series. So it's hard to pick, but Indiana, you think about, Nesmith and Nembhard are two excellent defenders. Toppin is a guy who's super athletic that comes off the bench, and they just play with a lot of swagger. If you watch that team, a little bit of cockiness, and Halliburton's not known as a tough player, but he's tough-minded.
Yep.
So I think that, if I had to give an edge, it would be Indiana, but it would be by a whisker.
Let's talk about environments. I've been to Gamebridge Fieldhouse. I think it's hoops heaven, man. It's almost a college atmosphere. The way they built the place, there's not a bad seat in the house. It's fantastic. I've never been to OKC, but what I see on TV, it looks like it could be a very hostile place to go. Who's got the more intimidating home court advantage here?
Well, I've been to both, and they're both pretty scary. I'll tell you that much. It gets incredibly loud in there. Again, I think Indiana's, I was in Indiana Wednesday and yesterday, or I'm sorry, Tuesday and Wednesday, whenever it was. But it's, people are walking around with T-shirts that say, basketball was invented in Massachusetts, but it was perfected in Indiana, or, the 49 other states like and love basketball, but this is Indiana. So, I mean, Indiana has that rich tradition. They've really been big on the Pacers since their ABA days. And both, like you said, you've been to Gainbridge in Indiana, and it's always rocking. But Oklahoma City's the Thunder are the only show in town when you're talking about Major League sports. So that building rocks a lot too. I can't answer fairly. I guess we'd have to go to both games. Where are our final credentials, Sam? We better head over there.
That's right. Let's go, Sammy. All right, let's move off the finals. I think it's going to be great. I'm thinking 6, maybe 7. It'll be fun. We'll enjoy it. I want to turn the page back a couple of days and talk about the firing of Tom Thibodeau from the New York Knicks. This act of firing has seen a lot of vengeance from a lot of people the last couple of days. In your mind, what was the reason that New York decided to let go?
I think, and Rick Carlisle said it best yesterday at Finals Media Day when he first saw it. He said his quote was, "I thought it was one of those fake AI generated."
I saw that. Yep.
So I thought that's what was the case. But I will tell you this, Sam, when I was sitting there watching the Knicks, and I think Tom Thibodeau is a great coach, but I just thought, man, he's very, very stubborn.
Oh yeah.
And Karl Anthony Towns wasn't bringing it for 3 quarters. He just put him on the bench. Just put him on the bench for, the whole 4th quarter. And I thought, you got to bring him back in. I mean, he's your second best player. And it wasn't even like a shot at Towns. It was just, that's the Thibodeau way. And there were a couple of times, and I'm not saying they would have won the series if he had brought him back in, but I thought there were a couple of times that I watched the series and thought, I think Indiana's playing out of their minds, but I don't think the Knicks are countering very well. And if I'm, just some guy in Northeast Ohio sitting there thinking that, that the GM and the owner are probably, the Knicks owner are probably sitting there thinking the same thing. And he'd been there 5 years with basically the same core. And, Larry Bird's line used to be after 3 years, you need a new voice. And he stepped down as Pacers coach after 3 years.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So I think that maybe that's what they're just, hey, look, we have a coach, we have a team in place here that's pretty doggone good, got to these finals. We don't believe this coach is going to get us over the hump. That's what it came down to. And now you try to go out, find a guy that you think, okay, somebody maybe a little more flexible, a little more, is going to play the bench more and make it easier maybe to sign free agents because they know they're not going to be sitting on the bench from November until whenever, as soon as they sign. So, I think that they just looked at it probably like the Cavs did JB Bickerstaff, right? It's like he got us to the certain level, which is great, but we need somebody else to try to get us over the top.
Well, the next follow-up would be, who's the new coach going to be? Does Michael Malone have the inside track? What do you think?
I haven't heard Malone or Taylor Jenkins, who was surprisingly fired in Memphis a week before Malone. I haven't heard them linked to those jobs. Doesn't mean they aren't, but it was certainly hearing a lot of Cavs associate head coach Johnny Bryant, who held that position in New York before this season. I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks go with either, a longtime assistant like a James Borrego, who was in the running for the Cavs job last year with the Pelicans, who has head coaching experience with Charlotte and Orlando. But, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think that they're going to make a huge splash. You never know, though. Malone could creep in there because he certainly has that New York personality, and he certainly did some fantastic things in Denver. So I think it'll be very interesting. I think if you're asking me right now, I would say Johnny Bryant, who lost out on the Suns job to Cavs assistant Jordan Ott. I would say Johnny Bryant's probably the number one guy being linked to that job in New York.
Interesting. Well, then let's flip this over now. Kenny Atkinson's got to go shopping now for some assistant coaches. What direction will that lead him?
Yeah, I think that he's got, you talk about a guy who's been around the NBA since 1999 at least as an assistant. He's made a lot of friends. I think that, Johnny Bryant would be, and this isn't a shot at Jordan Ott, but because all of them, Jordan Ott, Johnny Bryant, only been there a year in Cleveland.
Right.
I think that you have to, Johnny Bryant would probably be considered a bigger loss because he's the top assistant. He's kind of the Donovan Mitchell whisperer. So you'd have to, Kenny Atkinson, you have to find somebody who can kind of get in the players' ears when you're not around. And that's the kind of guy he would look for. Even just losing Jordan Ott, but if he loses Johnny Bryant, that would especially be the case.
I just found myself chuckling at my own question, like, Kenny's got to go shopping. I'm like, wait a minute. They already have 27 assistant coaches. I mean, do they really need to go get a few more? It seems like every NBA team, they take up 4 full rows behind the bench with assistant coaches with clipboards and computers. But I digress. Let's talk about the state of the NBA right now, the landscape of the NBA. How healthy is it? How do you think it will be moving forward as far as how people consume the product with the move from TNT? NBC is going to pick it up, the big show. TNT is going over to ESPN now. It's a younger league, different faces of the league. How do you see the NBA now, Sammy, in 25, and maybe take us to maybe 2030, 2035? How might it look then?
Yeah, I've been probably one of the biggest people who have repeatedly come out against the NBA and the way they've done things and the style that they play and their TV ratings tanking. And, I've been a voice that annoys the NBA over the years in that sense. But the last 2 seasons, I've been incredibly impressed with the way the league has, number one, created parity through the new collective bargaining agreement. You have 2 small market teams in the NBA final. And there's no winning with fans because, listen, fan is short for fanatic, and I get it, because I'm a fan of the Cleveland Browns and I act like an idiot when I'm watching them, probably even when I'm not, but even more of an idiot. So I get the passion, but you have this, base of the fans that kept saying, "Oh, it's rigged. The NBA always makes sure a big market is in the finals, and it's always the Lakers or Golden State or Boston or somebody big market." And now you don't have it. Now the fans are saying, "Well, I'm not going to watch. I don't know."
Right.
So these two small markets, no, ratings are going to stink. So I look at the way the product now, and I do think that there's too many three-pointers being taken league-wide.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest issue. But is that really an issue? It's like, okay, the style of basketball has changed. I think the pendulum's going to start swinging the other way a little bit, where the mid-range game comes back in. I think the league will introduce some rules to help that. But I think, to answer your question, Sam, I think it's in a great state. I've enjoyed NBA basketball more over the last 4 or 5 seasons than probably that, I think that decade beforehand, where we started to get, it was just too much with the stars. And we all love LeBron James for what he did in Cleveland, but it was like LeBron exhaustion, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, James Harden, Russell Westbrook. You just got sick of hearing about them. And now I think it's become more about the teams. You look at teams like the Cavs, the Pacers, the Thunder, the list goes on, the Denver Nuggets. It's about the teams now. And while there are still star players and faces of the league, it's not everybody trying to form a big three. It's the opposite of that. It's let's build the right way because this is what will happen. We'll get to the finals. So I think that makes it healthy and more enjoyable for fans. And Sam, I'm so shocked at how positive I've been about the NBA over the last 3, 4, 5 years, just how much I've enjoyed it and seeing how teams are being built. And there's nothing wrong with the big three. It just feels dirty.
Yeah,
Exactly. This feels we're building teams the right way. And guess what? The window is wide open. We've had 7 straight years of a new champion every year. First in NBA history. That didn't even happen in the 70s.
Right.
When it was nothing but parity. So I just think that the league, from a fan standpoint, I am enjoying this more than any other time in the modern era, except, of course, when I was going up to cover LeBron James and every game was an event. But from a fan standpoint, this has just been, to me, fantastic. I know a lot of fans that they want the stars and the big threes and all that. Not a lot, but there's a segment of them. But I think most are on board with this. Hey, you know what? Every year we go in 0-0. We don't say, well, Team X is winning it, so why should I care? You never know.
Yep. I like it, Sam. I think they've finally gotten it. They've finally come around. Maybe they're taking a page out of the NFL handbook. I don't know, but they've finally gotten it. People now, it's like, hey, my team's got a shot. My team's got a shot before we open training camp. And at the end of the day, that's all you can ask. Sam Amico, check him out. Hoops Wire, Amico Hoops. Check him out on X, on Twitter, whatever you call it nowadays. He is fantastic. Sammy, thanks for the time. Enjoy the finals, okay?
All right, Sam. Thanks for having me. Great to talk to you. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it. There he goes. Sam Amico stopping by here on 1310 WDPN. Hey, quick break. We'll come back and we'll wrap it up. Stay with us.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org. a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Did you know that everyday conversations can help your children build math skills? Discovering numbers and shapes with your children in any language is a great way to make math fun. When you get excited about pointing and counting or comparing shapes, your child will love to learn math, and they are never too young to start. Visit talkingisteaching.org/resources/math for free videos, tips, and guides to transform everyday moments into magical moments for math.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, time to put the finishing touches on the 3-question Thursday edition of the Sam Bourquin Show. If you haven't taken the quiz yet, make sure you stop by our social media platforms and give it a look, give us your comments, and have a little fun interacting with all of us here on 1310 WDPN. Thanks to my guest today, Sam Amico from hoopswire.net and AmicoHoops.com. Thank you to Maxwell Moldovan, PGA Tour Pro. He's getting ready to go to Oakmont next week and participate and maybe make a little move. What do you say, Max? He's going to be teeing it up at the U.S. Open. Good to have Maxwell on this afternoon. Wish him all the best. And thanks to Freddie Greetham from the Orange and Brown Report. Talk a little Browns OTAs. Matty Underwood, we will catch up with Matt next week. We'll talk some Guardians here on 1310 WDPN. A couple of reminders. Tomorrow, we will be giving away a 2-pack of tickets for you to go check out any Akron Rubber Ducks home game of your choice. Your chance tomorrow happens between 3 and 6 here on the Sam Bourquin Show. And then we will be giving away pairs of tickets to the National High School Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremonies in Canton. That big event is coming up on June the 14th. We'll give you a chance to go courtesy of some free tickets here. So keep listening. 1310 WDPN, Monday through Friday from 3 until 6 p.m. That is going to wrap it up. Boy, still some wild storms going on right now. Flooding waters are happening. I'm getting reports. Some trees bent a little bit. So if you're out, please be careful, whether you're on 62, 77, 30, 76, 21. Just be careful and make sure you get to your next destination. Thanks to my producer extraordinaire, Ryan Rainsberg. Thanks to everybody for listening today, for texting and calling and enjoying the program. And we'll do this all over again tomorrow on a fill-in-the-blank Friday edition of the Sam Bourquin Show. Have a great night, everybody. And don't forget, go Cavs, go Browns, go Bucks, go Guards. Good night.